Asafutei, okay, Tei, eno Tei, okay. Asafutei, or a senior economist, UPSC, Wabeka Insa Ewaha. And ye wo Jeffrey Kabute Okansi, on the executive director, Revenue Mobilization Africa, on not Timini Faso Paya, on the dressing there, the whole. And I am San War Samson Walanyo, the clue, one a associate agent, Bureau of Public Safety, one also, and a boy Hono. And na mia minu penyin Dr. Kwame Asante ono make yapim or director Center for European Studies University of Ghana ono or your chirichiri ni ewo Legon esuapon mu e for makwaba
ye wura ba
bibia bokode
ye huye
hu yampa dok mi hu wache
me wo ho enzem bebre nanze me hwere me nua panin nti yekoko pen kura bewo
okay
na enu yachi ma afia pedi ase tuku abue ye kira de na ba sa na adwuma sore ndi ese wo pa ntama na wadi wachichire owia na wo ye adwuma den eyo
that's it
ewrade de yan aba
wo de abedu da awo che wo so mi hu wache
ah iso adom
wo she ho
enem ye nhwemu na de bia ne ye na de bia ba na ye di hu nkomo
that's it evo
papa
leke ye fo
me for na for
me for what did you
Meli
that's right
munchire me yoru na aka aye me dedodo
no emi kan ni pop ya na emi kan ni pop e wo unge samia ina moke ibu ka ohia blow
eja go mi wa
eja
ono no ye Ghana ni
kakra ni de na musa awia ye de straight to action ye hwe ebena de atwa mu na Arise Ghana for share so mo ye a demonstration ye nyina ye hu se de sikoye Tuesday before the demonstration impo some do isisi ye ye kokoto ye no machia ye befa ha ntiasia ye adwuma afi do baby ye kokoto ye mpene ma momfa ha ye befa ha ye kwakohia ye be na najo 10 ye be pon 10 momfa mra 8 momfa mra 6 ye de be ko 8 ehun sem bebre ya kokudru baby edru ye se Tuesday demonstration ko so ene samawdo a isisi ye hu ni nyina enti ye na Wednesday nso de se de sikoye no ye hu ni nyina me pese ye de sima kakra bi e kasa fa asem no ho na fi si ewia na fi yatoa enkomotwetwe no so na yahwe ye di kan a me bisa ene se mam hyese mfan free eye wolanyo so esan se eye babo ho asem na yeka public safety what goes into it I bet you imagine so that this is yeka public safety say na ya fan to demonstration na course no say demonstration na course no so did we adhere to public safety by the security agencies which is the police and one more investigations and one more year demonstration protesters no one more na and na the time no be adwuma pa and the mama mo se manso I was some 7 minutes
eja me that say I mean me chakwe for you na makase a public safety I mean within the context of our environment we are looking at say every element within that space is safe and secured and going about activities without fear of getting hurt or getting any form of accident or injury within that space of it until bubu on maybe ana oti ebia oti malam mata marketer or tonwade at any point no feel say oko marketer hwe en won my baby siam ama na hwe ne nkwa ana say ama na epra so within that context no their agencies are your master said they have to put the safety of the people first to protect them. Inti ebane say bia na krono bona de na people are there to make sure say people who use the market are safe. Na say if in the context of whose duty is it is the security agencies who first must be able to ensure say our environments are safe. Even though you can say we are always your safety is first dependent on you and you also but then you know there are other arms that they ensure say whatever you are doing, you know, you are doing it in a safe environment. In this way, you know, even to the see or Arise Ghana for protest now more you know. Someone will ask, was the police do their bid well to ensure that both those who are demonstrating, which is their right anyway, and almost who were non-demonstrators, you know, was a safety prioritized within that contest? Because at any point, you know, the police service is more like a bridge between the state and the citizens. You know?
Okay.
And at any point, you know, as much as say you are protecting state property and lives, you also have to garner the support of the citizens so that you won't be seen to be probably executing your work in a partial way.
Okay.
What am I saying?
So we are
say almost a demonstration and they chose a route and a police from say be more fun emboa into Montesa. The question is say what were the security or safety implications in here they shouldn't pass there, and at any point, you know, were they going to pose any threat within that part? But because so now you know any explanation behind free service to say maybe I'm a cofano when we went in the customer more for honour. What am I say? So at the end, what we saw, they say people got injured, properties were destroyed. Okay. Which to me, for us in a way, you know, it seems the police might have failed in delivery of their crowd management within that context of it. Because I wish we in a PNA. Nobody knows now what triggered probably the tear gas firing in the first place and what also called for the stones pelting from the protesters as well. I basically said in some pictures, someone said, "You found a small boy of free school bar or she'll be a chair in a truck anymore." Within that context, the child is not safe. A baby to me to be at any point in time. So the police needs to do more when it comes to the aspect of protecting life in aspect of these demonstrations.
Now, yeah, sure. One so demonstrated, so we be emra and she shared down. Say be a me call the my here see me to be elim. Said a bear nafa. And say answer now also be a bambo for no baby bino. So on best sorry I can say be protesting na the oye no bibi ansi na bang no more start ye bibi. You see, bibi anka papa anye credit. Yan hwe ebre a wo mka some demonstration kra no. Am so mko series of meetings. Go to series of meetings. And mama can say on be 2 days demonstration on be we na 10 o'clock. I feel do baby no mo ya ma ne ba be do 8 o'clock. I feel we from 6 e be ko 8. Kona bra na ekojigu ye. Yan ka se ekojigu ye. Ansa na police so e court. Akokoje injunction there to so no mo so akoko ka say still for execution wo mo so akokoje e dey ato police for e dey no so akopin bra e bae enti no se wotina sidi na so hwe a pe de na ebobo ba no na ye hu se o ha bi betumi aba anka e say ye prepared pa e wo ho
dan wona waka asem no on say in as much as say the protesters had a right some demonstration, you know. It also lets them know as a responsibility to ensure say they stick to the rules of the game. Because what I said in the beginning, you know, there was a series of meetings at time no a change here. So probably police intelligence was what led them to say they should use a different route due to the exigencies of the meetings and how our courts in Baymono. So as I say, at now you statement be from any contest or any committee. I say almost establish a committee to inquire into the disturbances that happened on the day. No, maybe at then the moment say as to what triggered the whole route. No, to date you buy whether I say it was because they were stopped for using the route, or it was just because they were angry that the police were in the scene or anything. So the protesters also have to be responsible in as much as say, all right, say, was your demonstration. No? In the course of it, no, and I make say, must say state bus, I placed in the bus. And they said they were about wanted to set fire into the bus and all that. At the end of the day, you know, it's going to cost us money to face these things. Even the aftermath of what happened, it was a bizarre scene with all the stones and people's cures destroyed. People had to stop work and leave the scene. But within that day, you know, one man upon without any cost. Maybe the smallest money he will earn or she will earn, he or she have lost it. So protesters also have to exhibit some level of responsibility in as much as in the democratic space, no, you have the right to air your views through demonstrations and protests.
Answer me through, so I'm beside the church enough here. No pre-pry. Police for pry. One so a year demonstration, so it be pry. I'm about to as we speak, not seeing any fan of Crano. On to me, a one dear. How to say, na a hard journey. We share the neck here. What you say, I'm profoundly phobic and another yard. I didn't also say a bet to me a trigger. I did a year in a year board on your baby near far a hako. Now, because what share video no matter there was one particular guy be. Or no, all corner, what you say, BB a share, Nata de Nechia. How do we handle such situations? Sekobase bia protesters and such so many demonstrations such so more violence. How do we see an
I mean, for every protest, no, the tendency of it getting public violent is there. Because we are now the buffo based on what is causing them to demonstrate, you know, what it must say. So definitely, you know, there will be elements of people who are just in there to cause mayhem. Even some might not even be part of the demonstration or protest. The onus lies on the police service or the security service to ensure that they deploy the best strategies to control such situations. Because at any point, you know, I mean, for demonstration, as I say, it's a tendency. It doesn't mean say once they've termed it as a peaceful demonstration, it ends up being that someone might have just the idea to cause mayhem or to cause violence without any cause. So the security agencies or the police service need to deploy those strategic measures to manage the crowd. And once there's crowd, definitely you have elements of people who cause violence no matter what it is. So all goes down back to the police service, no, the deployment of the strategies of how they can control these crowds. And going for a couple, we have to be educating the public, you know. Say, also we anyway, we are going to demonstration. Also we anyway. Because they know if the education goes, and on the day of the protest, the police enforces their strategies. I'm sure we do so. The number of casualties or the number of probably injuries that we might see at the end of the protest.
Okay, me that's it. Now, me call Jeffrey. Some say Jeffrey. We share. Ye demonstration organa ha. Na bibiri wa ye di akire ehun se de sikofa. The kind of anger. Right. Na won krofo no mu. Omo ye demonstration no. The one no mo kasa. Ebufuo bi na wo mo de ye de omo ye. Akokoduro bi na mo de ehia policefoɔ. Enye Ghana yesu no. Akokoduro bi na mo de hia policefoɔ. Ene de besi bia nse huhum ebe omumu no. Ede na kire yen so oman.
Ejakoro me da asem akwanya we. Ma me nka bibi kakra mfa me ameti ha mini demonstration. I'm a former National Nooks executive. Okay. My lead demonstration Emma Honorable Kojoba Redu. Nyame mfa ni kra NCAA. Obisa student in payfo no bi say na ebesi time of film ka no ngin di say me no mensanda. Enshi weeda. The entire na adwe ne say say yentumi ntua demonstration na residential user fee.
Yentua.
Na yentumi ntua no. Me say no na me benkura ba say the sad ne ba me ntumi ntua. Mi school konam ka me beja school no. Enti me kan we FM a ehia pa so kire say man na yetim Ghana no. Na wo say enye Yesu. Suma me kan Yesu. Ye demonstration ye de je kuro we esi ho. Ni kojobo ni wo be kai a. Oye demonstration ni bi. Sa jajete enante ye ekoye ohwiri ni nkwan demonstration ye bi ntia na edikanfo eye ade we de je ye man we si ho maye kire se demonstration no ewuhia ewo pen bi so se wo be ye sa oye kire no de a kire se bebia ye duri mi bre nti sesemu kakra na me ho ntome na si a wo kaye no me ye sure se ne a wo pa kire ne se ye be ye ma ye nko wie kire no naka obi be hwiri ni nkwa ana obi be prade ke ne yi enum efim kire se sa agagete ohwiri ni nkwa se ye ko ye nim nso no ebi mu so ye demonstration sa besi enani na se ya de no so nkofo bi mu so praye ewom na ne a mebeka kakra kire se ye students kwa ye ko ye bi no na bibi poten bi ntina ye ko ye enso ma menka asem bi esi sa abre ne nkire o bibi si ye na me kai sa ade ne pa me na me ye me enu mi ho so ewo legon ye be sha se legon no ye wura kojo ban redu ne ye mame Elizabeth ohene eba ho ka ese ka mo besi ya no ene ya kasa wo na me so de no me si de bi ye be ko demonstration no ye nti ase ye be ko ne akoye ye kire no na ho na students ni bi ete insio pure water rubber no na owie gu ye wura ye mame Elizabeth ohene na as a demonstration leader no me so ni mu se twere na me de ma police for ebesi ne na manawfo bi o man temase mi yini ma police for no e ma me fa barricade ye di yenim saa tete kwashi run about owura kwashi ga ene ne convoy ahia ye ohu menim no nim mi pa o say Jeff why na me say da ska we minti ya ye yeso de amakofi akotena fie na ye course no ye wie demonstration ni na echire no me ka omo a ye di ye di mesan call ye ra kojo ban redu e ko paachew e ma ye ko yi sa student no ministries police station na owie no bisa am say na cameraman wo so na wo di demonstration mu din pa na ye mo say wo na wo che kobra ne ma yen e mu ba ko na menya ba ma ika yi say ye be koyi nyama bi ba kosi inti wo be demonstration no say wo so mu yie say nkrofo no be di wachi no ye nyina adwene kro ene ye de ko ana say awo kan ye obi wo ana neni agikeke no be wrem sikeni bi ba no betime tua school fees no inti school fees are see it tua ka on ti asem na say no de no abagim na me Jeffrey Kansi ame ade ne tutu miyem no no de ne ho abetwi me na asem na akoye den akoye basa na unim demonstration oye kire ade bi a ewo mrem nyama nkofo nyama enan na bebem ye wo demonstrators o mo ye kire no ye wo citizens media ni CSO obi oti ni baby a ono efa no so onfa ne ho ngim ono so ti ni baby sese amenyo be makaye obi oton na ade security agencies eno no de beba Ministry of Interior o mase no ye wo police e wo national security enso ade iboko chiri ho no wo say ye bo ade bia police de hu nenim de bia anti ye start kasa pa ye say Ghana Police Service national security wo mu bi na ye na NIB o mo so mu ngim bi asem wo de mo aso betoto from ati anhwa demonstrator na okọ no eni omo leaders no omo di enim no krapo no ensem bi wo ho a national security ni bia na bete a wo nte anhwa obi di no ba bagima be basa aseye ne keke enso wo nte o enti na wo be kọ no wo se bia na NIB ene no national security for musia eso sankrofo nya ne mu di nkita won ka kire mo se ye ko ye nim no mo hwe na ate se obi se si edu roadway so a sa chance dan ni we si oni grass dan ni wo no omba bobo no enti muntwensan wo be call demonstration wo sa asede no it's your rights but your rights comes with responsibilities imra no wo ye nyina ye finfin sa ne ama nan na me boy no imra no gina ye ntem enti wo de imra no be adwuma wo abasede se wo be de efata se wo kan se wo right se wo ba ko ye demonstration you have a responsibility wasede se wo be ko no wo be di huni me obi a ni bu afu de obi be bisa se obe de di ni huni obi a odi ya obi asem de ahye no enso ofa ubu afu asem na hye o enti akire se prophet yi a ono okokira ade enti oko school akokira nkwara ade ubu afu nti ubesi kwan se mo nko ubu afu a se kwan ni ye mienu a ubegina ba akumu na ka prof nso fa nchen no nkokira nkwara na ade enti ye wasede bi a ukọ demonstration a wo so be hwe enim ti ye ko enimi wo bisa se eden ye poten ye se ye se ye she committee bi nkofo a ombetena ho no ma hwe se asem ne di aba eden ne den na kan ye betimi aye a ochina e ma ne se biom na leaders ko demonstration ye constitution che say o be say nkofo mu di mu anim no omu yi onim pie ni ehu say osimasi ni odi mu anim omo ne security agency am boy no nye police nko awo BNI ene we say fo no na security omo ndi nkita ho na nhwehwemu bi a omo ye say ade we nti na ye say me emfa ha no wo be ka asa say ebirebe atwem ne ye program bi ye fe no Oxford Street ne ye program bi wo ye Broken Road ni na osu ne ye jambori ne nya ne age wo osu woni me de atwem a store akese na wo no kire say omo glass ne wo no gidigidi bi bepiem na ye ko a na pan ya pan no obi ko a obi ametua ho ka biom nti demonstration ya no obi obedi demonstration ni bia no heni yi o say ugodi anim wi amra na kire say etosin a ye hwemu wi a agina okon mu na ade baako say ada ha me pa ne say ye mo nkofo ti ase demonstration no bibia mra da ho ene ye koso a ye woni ama bi say oye hwan na say oye say ade we sa bia ho no de bia me ka say bua me ma me no wo no National Commission for Civic Education say ye mo ma hoden no mo matima me fo no ti ase say niama bi wo ha say usua a e fa o man yi hu say bi nya be ma kan yi police bus a odi ye adwuma ubuafu say den ukopaa ni say den e ho na wasem no wa na bus de glass ne wo no e ho na ekom na de wo na wo na de bi chiro wonsem egu krata so yi paper yi ba kwa e chiro say ene ye sori ye ndidi ye o china no pakati dia nsem ya ye ken chiro bi gu paper no so ma obi ehu krata no ko ni mbre o kro bi so no be ko no omu nyina be bo ma no no makocha independence square no mo take from din no ma ni din no mo krem sei picket no kra enso nsem trofo na mo so makocha no fefefe na ye di akire nti e betimi aye o ye kire we mu e wo kwan bebre so obi so ha oni bebi o man peyin fa anopa bia nti anopa no no wa fa ne krata no de asem ba ko pa to so Monday, Tuesday was sabako no aye. Eno so ye kire na bi. Nti oye kire no ye wo niam bia obetimi aye, ai no so be kire oye kire ye bi. Obi entu ni store musia mnya be maken. Obi ti enkopai. Obi ti pai pe. E ho na hia de bade bako a be hwere ni se ensem na anka wo koka no. He say ye ni me papa me ni wo yi. Na me wa asem bi me buafu. Onto shirt mame, onto shoe mame. Ye ko party mintimi nkobi. Na me call ya. Good morning, da. Now people. Da. Now da should know as on to ana. That's how they be. Kwan or no papa no be kasa no. Ye demonstration ye be you. And so see e be pie car glass. See e be say we, I say we e be asefim. And na also mo hwe ban ma bo no so no. Omo nti ase say. Un say ye di sika oman sika ato kai bi mu amom. Kai no timu a. Sa kai no timu a. Oto buo otu dua o enye ne hwe enu ni ho ana e wo ho yo kai ni ba ku bi so a ensi ohie na ewom se me ne onya adware ensi ohie so obroni aye ba ku bi a sa ensi no mpese obedware ye di dware wa obo so dware yi pa obedwane enu so wo ho omfa sa aquaturement no ene ni ama no ensi anu kakra ne kasa nkomode ye ndi hu nkomo ebufo na mu a no ye se ye ngina nkra ni mu ye den ndutu nkra ni ye tibi nko ye dey ekonomu an ye solve problem dey bi e say ye nyina ye di nkita ho dey hia papa na say obi beka say niama bi enema ade be si ye niama mi nipa de mani si ye ekom eni ebufuo potokasa be si a hungry man is an angry man mina ye timu no ekomodi obi eno mo de kasa yi opeso kasa mo ma ne kwan no nko kasa ono so ya ma ne kwan so okọ kasa no Vichanity awa okui ono so onhwe krata na ye friend mra the Constitution of Ghana no hwe mu se mra na kire ne si obe o ye kire we a obia nkoto chima no mo ye ne saade a memeti hai sa demonstration no mi ma ye bi pen o man peyin edibi enim saada amman peyin fo ni nyina ye wo Ghana ha no beka se by some magic no fiti Kwabena Nkrumah ebesi the last one o ye kire de dodo na de omo agimda adentra ewo nsem bia no mo pese ye tenetene no na nyina bibia ebe bia no ebe wie peyo masem kakra meka ne se ye Ghana fo asem we ye Ghana asem ye nye na wi ase hu se ye nso so eba oye kire ene banbo mu a ya ba ye nima beduru bebia ese ye man na ye fe ne Ghana ne kra no ye de oye kire ene enim kasa se me kasa wanim se de o ye nye na so a ma hye on kra o baby na ma kasa wanim kakra ne ye kɔ ye de saa nneɛma ya bi ɛna ye de gye man we nti ɛyɛ ade bi a ye pɛ wo ye mpɛ wo
ɛwɔ hɔ ɛka ye ho beda ase ye di nkomo na asɛm bi bɛfa ma dwene mu hwim prekopɛ se be nambere bi so nti ɛna saa ye hye ne ba so na me pɛ sɛ ye hwɛ no wa ha sɛ obi sɛ me kwakɔ bibi emra ne sɛ me mbɔ wa me ntia me nti ho kyerɛ sɛ we na pɛ sɛ me kɔyɛ enti me bɛbɔ amane okay mate na de na msim kwakɔ no me na akɔpem abiri sei ya tena se to ato adwene a okay ye nyina se ye bɛba ɔho de ntia me ka we nyina ne sɛ demonstrator no se omo demonstrating ne kyerɛ sɛ woman the police for nyina ko bankrum say bambofo ko bankrum so no nwotwe 8 o'clock woman nyina agi to mu say obefa afa kwansin ena police for Sunday nkrata bra mo say bibi amoka say mo mfa no ye di kan ka won asem ba na wotwe mienu miensa kora ma agi bibi atomawi ena sansan yachi aka kakra bi na ya demonstration no afa mo say yempene ma mo nya ni say yempene ma mo nya ni say sana leaders no demonstrators no eka na ka me say wo mu hu ni ti a 11th hour ana police fo nya adwense sa say wo mo pene e ma wo mo yese de so mo ye no bo bra wo magi bibia tum doc se ko ba ni sa se no kresa se e ba ni sa se bi o mo to atwaje nyina awie na 11th hour police fo no eka so mo pene a wo gidi se e be ma gidie mistrust bi aba the security agencies no anase bambofo no ene o my demonstration no entem eno betumi aye factor e dey Tuesday no hoye ne baaye no akra
Agya Kwamra aseda ya ode mami nyina free so nchi a o mangana fo ene obia da bia mebo yen abaso se yen atumi agina ho a ye nyuma na yerebo o mengi yew Agya Kwadwo wasem obi san eso emudo mimfi ase wo hwe demonstration a mimfi ase efuwo den ade den kura demonstration a ekọ ne be kura den ade Agya Kwadwo wusua amanyosam a ye kire se obi wo ho kwan se oka na enum asem oka na asem eda no koma so esan se wa ma otumi se di o ma so enu nti o nkwan se bibia no bi sa ho nsam na ye wakwan bebre a ye fa so ebi ne se o se boycott saade a wo ye kura mere mma ho metena me den a mo ye saade mere mma kwan ne ba ko o se obi wo ho se bi wo ho se o se me ade na mo ye ne mempene so nti ma akọ strike ma to atua huniema na ba ko ne demonstration ye yo ye kire niema bi koso menti ase mani nye ho enu nti mere kwa abonten akọda suban bi adi a mere mam ho kwan na obi ehu se ma asem ni yewo nti ba bi a demonstrators wo fi ba ko bani won a wo ti monten so no o many mrapon a ye constitution emma onipa bi akwan se wo betuma sore gina na wayo ye kire a kire wasem de wasem atugwa na obi atie no atie na sopam anaso wo pese wo betie keke enti so nipa ako tiusi lor kwan so ya onfo mraye mrama no ho kwan na mom ezane se amanye no oman adwuma ye no wo de mra na ye no wuntume mfa wo pe enye nea wo pe dabi nti ye wo mra ye ngahyehyɛ wo ye kyerɛ ho so wo be ye dia ene ko hu bangbofo police fo wonu wonni nkomo pe bi na efe mu nyina ma adwene nkɔ benkoro na mu wi a efe wo ngama ho kwan ngaye wasam no se ni ayen atete se no kwara se woni police fu di nkita ho akasima britiatia na adwuma na ba so no o se dabi won anya kasa foforo mitie owura mona na me no wo joy TV so wo kire or kasa ansem yi ya biara se akasima brika krea bi na kasa foforo o se order from above enunti ye be sakra police fo sakra ne manum saa asem ne nti fi police fo nso won hoye enu nti saa kasa ne ntumi nyina so na mom se ne awokan so eyampa e de saa di betumi di aba ene dan esa ne se me prese mra mam ho kwan se me ye kire me ne wa hyehye yere kwade nanim a wasakra okwan no obi yani wo bete saa asem yase esa ne se then na ba ne se wo mpese me ye ana se wabo tirim paul foforo yew na sane man aye haw na Agya kwadwo ye kekani nyina no ye kekani nyina etise ye nya anu aduru ne den sadi sawti ase answer member anu aduru hon ade ba ko ye de ba no nso se demonstration wo kan kasa bi se bi mu de body bi no wo ye no ho ne ma eye omanmu no amamu na ye bu no se wo bu na mfo kwanpa so na ne ma bi sankawa ubun se fe e de saado na ba yenyentum se osuto for my den omen my den sikasam enkoye niema bebre wo hwe napko for maba mabum a wo yadwuma wo se won akatua kura aka minim se won atua nanse a national service for ne niema bebre enu nti obi a wo yo man bapan se wo te ase wo ho kwan se wo sori gina na wo fa mra kwan so na obi sa aban se aban me de mitumi ama se ye ma pedemam na aba ne den nti wo hwe niema na ayo friend den won a wo koyo ye hire no wo de to monten so na eto aso me 11 to na wo ntwam yew me 11 wo kire won adwene wo ho se wo soro na ye se manipa ho kire ne ho niema wo kai se ye di 11 ho nkombo me de ma asam na se minchi 11 na mum e wo soro dodo won esua omansi kan konta ne nhyehyɛ kire yen se ye de to 1% a ebabu obi a won so se dabi wo de betu ba bi oto nti ho nsam na ekofa sadre ba ko efei won asam ba ko wo de tu gua ye se mmabu nya adwuma so no kwara na nya no kwara no kwara tro do me kira de wo university afi bia no political science fo ya ba monten so no men hang meni nka efi be 500 kosi 800 wo ba monten na so adwuma ben no wo ye so what you say enunti se wo kire obi ade na so wie school no ba bonten a na fi obeda ne mama so na oto aduan ma ne dia ene na ye ga to opetetu ankoze hwe enunti se wo bisa ne kwanga no wo se inflation se ne ma akosoro ne ho ne a so no kwara na enye no kware ya number 27% enye sa na wo hwa won asua economics be kire wo se wo hia single digit inflation you na no na ahoden wo enunti wo bisa sa ne men a wo ne kwan wo kan bibi te se Agya deal wo se Agya deal no entie enkoye me ti yo ngasem me no won nya adwene ho efi se ni ameme pe se Agya deal na mra parliament bi o na mpanim fe won ani ase no won hwe se ebetuma aboana efi se mpeng bebere so wo hwe men ya ye nga ton agudi a ye ton fom agudi ne niam ye nya won sa ase su ya na nia economics fo beka che the intangibles na wa he so what you say ho na sika wo yanka ho asem nti wo kire won agene na sa nyeme nyina mra ma ho kwan so be na emom wo ya etisa wo ya na mra kwan so enu nti wo police fo a wo be kire wo yenye se yenka hu se bro nyankopon ba de obo wi ase no obo nipa to asase so ya oja wo kai Garden of Eden ye wo ho na ye nhwehwe no ye wo ye hu se se ye nga nya biribi ammo ye ho bag ne ye Agya ho ye be wi ase kwa enu nti adasa gina ho se ye beto aban ebra na wo ba you be ye ne ma bien ma ye ba bo me ho ban na bo ma Agya ho ban na wo ye saa menam ye be di umra so ye be gya aban atum enu ni social contract wo ko hwe nwoma bi a wuri hu lawyer bi ene wo be hu nwoma bi am edan ano e wo ye ntim edan nkoma so sa wo ti ase enu nti medeba so wo hwe police fo a won adwuma edikan ene den obo wo ho ban na wa bo Agya ho ban
mama social contract mama ba police for the so na yenhwe
na ka ma metew ne ta na fe wudi asi enu nti ye record demonstration a etisi ehu say ye say ade bi pe police fo bebem esa ne say won adwuma if say me say police fo wo say ade na police fo amema etisi ye di police fo court na just woni mo adwuma wo ye eni nti o ma ho kwan na emom so enti say ba say ye kwakoye sa ade na nipa bi abo wontiri mu pose ye ma wanye police fo o dabi yenkra yempene so ne ho ne enti say bo bi adwene mu saa esa na ade ba akopɛ ye nyina pese ye man na ye pese ye man a ese ye tume tena se na ye dwen ho se okwan e be fa so ni na wuru ntumi nke se wo koyo man je se me se ade me show tie me se lord kwan me se na wo se ye wi aba be ye nyanse bi ye ni na na etu so ye bi ete se police fu nzu hu se onipa o so ko demonstration on tango mani enu nti won twini nya ye momodin nwen ho se obia wa adwuma ete so ye police fu be boy ye ho ban boy ye japade ho da wo se ya de wore mpene ete se ensu ejetum na ne fare ba nyina na eja kwadwo ma mema wanu aduru ne enko mehu se aduru wo ho ya ne se ye babbo modin na se demonstration ye be hwe ye mre yi se ete se wo hye da trans no wo ye mre bi se wore kwa wo science anwoma na wo se wo ko na se biribi se ya wo ye betwe aso na aso twen ebem wo demonstrators no won ayo kire no won wo fuma won twe aso police fo nso wo ye se wo twetwe won nase wo tietia wo retwe erima san a eti se won so yetumi twe aso na emom eye se obaako no wa hoden obaako ni ahoden a saadi ebe ko so da
edok ka ayi ajapade na mebisa se yenhwe ayi ye start to go do Ghana nyene ye to go diamond bauxite na se fon so still hiana na yedi obi beka sesese no akame ase fan ayi fagudi ayi to ye gold dodo no a hoho na etu China for na age aginam enti sanke tumi streamlize said ye see etu ye gold no ema ye Ghana for no and ye tu about 80%. Ena ahoho no 2% ya anka ebekwa koba se ebia ye de sa emre beba esan se scan de beton ni nyina no ni nyina ebeka scan no ebeka Ghana anti se mehu se na se na bandi hihye bi ba se omo hwe na omo to gold no the machines bi bra omo no motumi ahwe but eno kura no ebe de se betumi akotia galam se ti se tumi kotia galam say fully anka ejapa deal anka obehia
meja galam se mi se o tong se o ne se yempese yakutua yempe eya no keke ye ka kira manzan ye de nye ne ye nyo kira ade ndira makaza won etu galam se enye se bia 3 no weditu enye sofi no weditu wodi mfiri akese na se ukọ bia wotu na ubehu se wo mfiri ti go abofra kro na momonten so kra mofra na momonten so wofra won ase hina na ade agya semasi na ne de yan ahwehwe wo yan hwehwe won ye ka galam se asem se sabi nipa bi fi omen bi so na wo betu na ye hu won ye ene ye be den ye be ye pese ye yo tom na political science ye wade be friend state capacity ya horo nan na baako o administrative capacity so wode o man nyina ahye won sa de ehu akade nyina ahye won sa nti wo teka mo bo pon kora memfa meka mempark na twam esan se wo ye adwuma bi asom bo ene ho niama so wentuma anya sa capacity na abafo ne etu bia bien wo frɛ no extractive capacity so man ne betu magije ntobo ahwehwɛ ba bia sika wo na wo ngaje no wo de ayo man no nti wo ho na wo se mintumi nyo man no esan se minya sika de na se adwuma no anu so agye wonsam ye wo technical capacity se wutumu se adwene mu do wo de tuatua niema bi atise wunya ene na ye wo regulatory capacity mra wo be hye mra na wadi so na wo be hu se sa niema nyina eto sin ene den sa wo friend den garam se wotu ye ma ho kwan wo kɔ ba bi a ekoso nyina esan se ye pa batu nti wo beto aba ma yenti yentumenka na de bia meka misa amanyosem enya adona wo katwi wo geza adona aye se so ni pay me ye ne sai a obi a mepɛ na asem me ni nya ne a mepɛ no adona enye wo mfa nya oman o ton ne wode ye oman eye mra enu nti se wusura anye wo ye nsu ye nsuro na se yetumi ye saadi na se ne wo kan yetumi se yenga gudi e wo fom ye de be ma ye nkrofo na wo ngatu na yenga gentobua ne aye ye be ye oman ye na bebre no ubehu se aben bi ba ompese opposition fokora benya adwuma aye sadin menti ase den asem ni
ye be kasa ye be discuss issue one day ye be pebble discuss say issue no say adenti na ye ba aben bi ba na ogu local industries a indigenous industries no businessmen they are suffering these days pa man kan especially when it comes to manufacturing me ko unia so na 1 minute per na me ko na so
just 30 seconds prof can be for good you your problem no ankasa ne say enye ni tu no nti misremo ye nja itu ni kakra value out the back gold now what you know and the Ghana problem.
Ankamerika ho. Eye na edi kan.
Your problem kese no emfa mitini tunu pe na makoma.
Debi ni tunu so kan.
Me ba ni tunu me problem ho. Me nyi kakra ba no adabraka ha. Na Goldsmith for. Sa Goldsmith for no one. You see, we are there for them. I'm for cocoa, for example, what they will. You took cocoa, you try a cocoa, you are a good bottle money, they come out. Amanone. We are seeing now Ghana, any Cote d'Ivoire, any Edimuka cocoa production. And so say, you are seeing cocoa daddy in the year. Crat actually say, and fast well back cocoa, yeah, any Cote d'Ivoire, yeah, even 10% in fast well. Actually say, until say, obey, say, what they value, big good at the end, gold now, what you know. See, I'm fine, yes, dear. Oh, me bra paying the selling say, BT. Say, oh, yeah, we are. So, where we are now, and the quantity to the year. So, the bear beats. I finished product. Now, I didn't jam and the year. It's good now, yet to say, you bet you there, they be out of my end to Ghana, as I see, Nani to go. Any na. Na say the god in kwa say a born in kwa record there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, me dan say. Na ye hwe woman a okwan fa so e dey handle betumi aka say every time you be person demonstration bia no. Ye nya police form mo ka sen bi. Say ye mpene mamonko. Esan say we don't have the men. E bia bibi say enti no ye ni person bom ho ba na ye nya wo mo. Ebia baby am kokofa no enye wo hwe de sie ya omo se omo ko block okwan bi saa kwa no omo so omo from barricade ko si wo sense omo kofa ho a ebe keka ko bia mampani aso ye wo enu ti omo ko wanya de bitumi ayeye emu ti omo mpene mo mfa ho amanfo se ho anso na ye befa ene womo e bai na nkasa womo a eye bambofo na e bai na nkasa no se ade were trained wahu ya tete womo a ebetumi aka say sabambofo ebedi yatete wo mu purposely for this sanya no mpo a policing no that aspect for say bebo demonstration ne route ebetumi ahwe ne esi ano no are they well prepared, well trained? Because video na ba no say wo share show ne ma gina gina ho ne tear gas bi fi akire bi tear gas na to fi akire no police ni na beto tear gas no ankwan koto nipa nu akiri eya na fa police for na kon aso ho ana eto manimu pe na protesters no so fire eto edema mo back wo hwe de si e ho na were they prepared and we dey see no.
Okay, Agya Kwabena, Michiao, good morning.
Morning, sir.
And I greet Ghanaians too. The last time we were here, I said Krumaeshi. And these things that are happening is just evidence of the challenges our economy no. But my issue is say, let us look at the role that demonstration plays in a democracy. In a democracy, you have the executive, you have parliament, you have judiciary, you have the media, and then of course the citizens. Group Winina, they are part of the policy making process. Inti say executive ni parliament omu ye decision. There are some decisions now public back can say these decisions we are against them. We don't think it will go well with us. Now, in some situations, we can go back to the citizens and say, should we go ahead and do it? And the citizens will say, yes, go ahead. No, don't go ahead. Now, so in Ghana, it doesn't matter what you do, what you say, what the research or data is saying. The moment political authority almost say they go ahead and get it done.
Say mo po, say you po, say won po.
Yeah, and that one angers the citizenry. Senior was talking about the various authorities that government has, the technical ability, the administrative this, and all of these things. The state has everything. And last time, Mikael said, if government say they are taxing us, we can say no. You cannot say you will not pay. You will pay. But what will be your reaction if you are in a fix? Demonstration has been part of our democratic process, right from independence. In fact, we're mentioning Agya and others, the February riot, way down through to even school days. As a student from Legon, only a few of us will say they've not been part of demonstrations. I was part of the academic USAFI, demonstrations. But you see, at that time, we marched from Legon through to the Ministry of Education. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt. In fact, I have no information that somebody got injured, they were taken to hospital whatsoever. Those days, you'll be on the street, and cars will be honking at you and waving you. The policemen stand on the sides of the road, and we pass peacefully. We got to our destination. And those days you say, Harry Soya, when you say appointing, that kind of song. Now, our Minister of Education has this long beard. We got there, and the man got out to speak to us. By the time, if I want to saw him, we were cheering, because that's student nature. We were cheering, hey, hey. And the man waited when we finished all our students, if you call it nonsense, he started to address us. In fact, by the time he was done, some of us were going back to campus. This is getting to the psychology.
Nature say, more calling in an margin say, you're near Brady call. But Mohu and Nimuno, our chassis saw Casano. I'm about to yam and see a independent to question answer.
Are you getting the whole thing? Now, what is the trend in our system currently? In fact, he was saying it. Our current president has been part of demonstrations. In fact, the Kumipreku one was probably the largest that changed things. Even that, did we ignore VAT? We were demonstrating about VAT. That was too much. It is a major revenue earning stream in Ghana now. So the point is that when demonstrators are demonstrating, they are agitating, say, say. As a policy maker, as a policy implementer, you take your time and you talk to them. Do you know what? This is our situation. If we don't go this way, this will happen. If we go that way, this will help all of us. If we are able to talk to ourselves like this, all of these things will calm down. We have a situation where we open parliament. Parliamentarians were doing our own thing. We're doing their own thing, I should say. Before you realize, military men, security, I don't know if police were included, they entered the chamber of parliament. That is an affront on democracy. So you will see that, what will say, going forward, even under somebody that we will say has been the bastion of demonstration, or be a demonstration, won't do this, won't do that. Who is in the presidency today? Respectfully. Now we are here and people cannot demonstrate. It is not proper. Is it people cannot demonstrate or say maybe on person first year? For instance, some say demonstration we in 2 days. Now on be here and alcohol at 10 o'clock. And I'm say Ghana have 10 o'clock in Syria, so because some we a vigil be doom short time no. We a vigil akra more. And ma bese be and who say bibia crazy and then as 40. Oh share na so na police for no so enya intelligence bi agada intelligence bi say nipa bi nya bibi on be ye. Enti no yan so yan pene ma nipa bi fasa kwa no so am destabilize oman no. Enti ne be hwe ne ayi say no so ni ho. Agya, before you go on demonstration, there are procedures. Kwan so I say won fa ansana ubetumi ayesa demonstration because we are in a democracy. We spoke about public safety. And that includes the safety of you, the human being, and the safety of things around us. Even when we are walking and you hit your leg, it is the interest of government to make sure that you don't hit your leg. And so they went through that process. Omot Nasi, they've agreed, say, you will start from here and end up at this. You will take this route. It has always been the trend. And then on the day of demonstration, they come and block your entrance and said you cannot go. I mean, who does that? That was a major flaw. I hope, say, the English is not too big for our audience. We cannot do that. And so if we are here right now and all of a sudden they said you can't come out of this studio, as human as we are, our other parts will begin to, take shape. And so the police erred in attempting to block the demonstrators from even taking the route that they've agreed on. In fact, they have the right to say that they will be demonstrating on this issue for this number of time until they get a positive response. Your job is to control them. Issues regarding vandalism, say omumbe say adie ni nyama. Yes, it is not something idea fair. But if we have proper crowd control management schemes, say if we have demonstration here calculated say be 2,000 people ombe attend here, what should we do? Plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. In that order. If the people are, if you like, demonstrating peacefully, you better say obi per se obey ye BBR and ye fenu. This is what we have to do. In fact, Bernard Mona said that he was there and some people said they were coming from the police service to demonstrate. And they started rioting. Say omu person obey adi basa. But na original ni nua bi ho na saa guy no so o na ofa ebo bi say na o say odi ko eden odi ko akobo obi ana say bibisa na waso ni mu, just like he did that he was narrating. And so the organizers also know that there is a responsibility that is placed on them. But if you come to restrict them, that is not democratic.
And would you say they see here after Tuesday, no, Wednesday, no, a year boko yantishi. Would you say a day what the 1 minute per then also says see a year? Now, you copy Wednesday, dear, no, all the time, not Tuesday, dear, no, a being conquered.
Okay, so the second day, which was the Tuesday, the police
was it the Wednesday?
The Wednesday. What happened? Were they blocked? No. Were the police gathered with all of this? They shared themselves around the main road side, and everything was peaceful. The point that I'm making is that if you continue to be draconian in your policy implementation process and people are protesting, then you entertain the fear, say, hey, Bia, umbe say adie, until let us stop them. We cannot stop demonstration in a democracy.
Okay. Okay, Kwame, so say, Kwabena, good morning, and your panel members. On the demonstration, I pray government take steps to bring solution to the hardship in the country. On the IMF issue, I pray it doesn't affect recruitment into the public sector, and I pray civil servant salaries increases. When they hear upon me, say, Young Joe say, my question is, how are they going to break the 8? Now, the country now is sick. And who do you think can rescue us? I don't think 2024, many Ghanaians will cast their votes because MPP government under this administration has failed us. And the NDC too are not ready to change the... Okay, incompetent, blah, 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 na bo nundu enti ye wi a ye be san summarizing some ye kan nyina papa ye mra the main issue so ɛno nso ɛwɔ hɔ a ɛha adwene. Ghana is now heading towards IMF. Na obi bebisa say eba ne sen ɛna ɛbɛdu baabi a yɛduru. Awuje. Eba ne sen ɛna Ghana, the economy is booming, the economy is sound, the economy is this, the economy is that, the economy is this. Notwithstanding this pandemic in echi, economy now so we are reviving the economy. Sa na fi revive ano entimi an revive na sisi akokoduru emergency a yedina akokotoji asisi akwa amafi. Ye free hin yedu baby yedri. Why did we go wrong? And am yedu baby yedri. Issues me can Dr. Baumia can sembi me pese ye gina no so na yede edi enkomo no 1 minute. Okay. On March 26, 2015, Dr. Baumiana or Kasa or say, Mr. Chairman, the IMF bailout was totally avoidable. He was referring to the former President John Dramani Mahama, brought the IMF. No? If the government had listened to sound advice from many quarters much earlier, but government refused to listen. They believe in their own propaganda and said, Ethiopia, into brackets, we won't listen to anyone. When government was cautioned about the scale of borrowing, the government responded that they would borrow more. Now that their propaganda has been exposed by economic reality, they are now forced to listen to the IMF. We have to move from Ethiopia to Yebeti IMF Nkwa. Into brackets, we listen to IMF alone. Dr. Baumia, okay, yankan tiawa yanfansi wa. And two tears of the kind or say, Sanka Abaya, then President Mahama, now by no 8-year foot tour with the ma woman noir, Anka IMF no, and Kennedy Abeko. Woman can say, oh, Brobo Siado, Abane can say, ye bebrubia can hopa. I feel the propaganda, sana propaganda, no, economic reality, no, a pejane hono, the film the Rika Echo IMF. Yeshe scenario is see well former President Mahama Futua or Dr. Baumiacha from the banner weti. They found to an idea who said difference be wo. There's a difference be ma ye ko saying and ya baby do be a yedri. And wait, Mamisha, memo 1, 2, 3, 4 more 10 minutes and then some David. Memo 7 minutes.
Okay. We share a car once a year. And then you call IMF. Me all kinds is here. Me sure say oko eni so ko kan bi fi amanyo ko bi e mu omo so omo wo adwene bi e fa IMF conditionality say obeko yenko yenim no amenka sem bi say kwa ye kwa IMF Koto Kasa Rebecca said the major objective is actually to improve our economy. So yes, you can say see I boy you can say mobile and could you can say copies can be na Obeko so no Kasa and Yama Ben sa and Nebema Obeko say Uko Bobusi. Yeah, I want you me being a country and Dima into a year. Now Utia Kasa Muya. So Obeko Akobo Bisia de me. Krate bia interest busia bo e adebone amai akese ti sa America ni Europe ekru akese a obebo nyina no owo krate e kire se onso omoko bo busia no mo so bo na obo busia na e den poti a odi sika ne ba be ye no en nya enti obeti ade bia media makansi o say, and I say that with no fear of favor. Say Ghana is never a poor country. We are not a poor country. We are only a poorly managed country. Me can say 2020. Me jina usa okrasi kan ko betwa me tikra me san akebio. Me say Ghana is not a poor country. We are only a poorly managed country. Adentira.
Some man penim na dokra kan bra na o se etisika so. Ensu di hia.
Niama ben na ebema mama kasa say. Ye problem ya asem ye nsem no ebini high expenditure. Say ye ka ye iba koto niama ufie kura pa ufie niama oba koto edi niama high expenditure e kosoro a ebe hawo corruption say katahwehwe any proye high debt na aha no ironically say asefem kakra na ne asem kakra won say sa eka ho asem hunti na ye kwa IMF bi yin na so obeti a tete nyum bi ne eden metuma na mesa ato ama ye say wo fa no oto ntua ka o ai owura ne no ye bedan ka o ai Ghana ho na ye gina ye de ekobọ ka entimi ntua sesi a ya bob Ghana debt stock say eka ye de no oman we ya de ka abebro 70% na World Bank eka ye no ye number is 78 ya ye tese ye oman bi a ya boka na sesi a se busia na ya koje no enye busia na ngasa ne ye etua o ye gitase ne ye diske mu nyina wi a ye busia na eda ho no ye ntimi ntua busia no sika botene na ngasa no eno ye tia de ya ye de nsihunu na ya ye etua no intesi ano
intesi se eye sika botene na ya kwakwaje no
eno ye 1000 ye ntia 1000
nti they say nsihuna na ye etua
nsihunu na ba no eno krapo nka no ebu idumre bi twemu krapo ne ye bobosia krapo tia nsihunu sabe bi ho ne ye gina no ya asem no ano hye papa asem na ye koso no ano hye na okoso mienu a poor revenue mobilization say obeje tax ne ye to no o ma bia ogibi no de ye ne nsem Ghana ye de no ho won nsem
wo ka ma membra ba wo kan bibi say ye brobusia no kra na ye de kutua eka edu ba bi sa na ne ye no ye kopo bi say na betua ka na say bisia ebo nyane to aye je nyina no ye fa kutua capital na mo no ye de tua interest da ye busia no so na say sa na tie dia what then na aka me say bribia no the economy is on a strong economy ni na so economy ni na so de ni mu no se ye de sika no kokutia besia nsi hu dia na economy ni na so papa no
wow eba no economy na wo kan sisi a no ye de no de bia ye ditum eka debt ye wo bi sa na aban nyina no ye bibia e friend potokasam debt stock se o de ka no eka no eda ho no ye di bia ka ho saa nti we beji bi to na we abeji abia to na we so abeji bi ato enti se no nkonta de obu a ubon sa aban bia obetimi eyi obi a na de ode be ka ho ode ka ho wa fa nka ho ye Ghana ka eno so da ho ma yen enti o he e ka wo de ene edwa so a udi e wo nchen a e ka de eno so da ho enso o he o se watimi esi adan hospital ni a school ni de ni ama no e koso a ubetima ye no nkonta no se o mpuntuduma no ene osika sem no nyama okoton ye ne nyama ebe mu no ende webu nkonta baako na sa wodi gotiti film se wo besa wo ti de onyae efi wo kam dia ende ka de bia de bo se de bia de ye de ka na me come ni ma me fa waste mismanagement of we say resources eno so kan bi se ye de sika na ye benya no e ba ko ye nyama anha emfa mfa so ma no eno so eka ho bi na obi ba bisa se ukoji busia eya na enye ende edika makacha dala se ukoji busia de enya adebone se amaya kese kraji busia na oji busia na edi emu pa na wode be hye kaminya peyin kan ye oka gold asem no kamikoji busia no na amde ko to machine kese baako a machine se tu gold ni wi a ye di gold ni baako gum na no ye di aye watch ye di aye meka wa ibi ni ye di aye bibia enko ni maya anka niama ebe wi ekire aye koton no emfa so be ba so na se okoji besia ne ba na o de beji memu egu bibi se napko mu na napko no adepa no sa no wan bie factory napko nkwala no ba ko egbon sa factory no na mfa so bie fi napko no ma ba se napko fo no omu produce yemfa ne se omu di cocoa na yeyi no omu be chocolate napko fo no e produce e wo go sector napko fo no omu ye de omu ye chain omo minya peyin kai se omo kofa asho omo kofa tech omo ye sa artisanal steady cb omo ye sa refinery hu courses kan ye no my gold se minya be man o she ne gold ring ana de egu ni sa beat ye di ko ye bia ke be we mfaso obi so bisa se sa loan we a ye koje no ka na ye koje no ye wo krata bia e betwa ato wo se oh ye koje loan we se de be ya ade we a ye no kwa na ye be hwe so na ye de aye no eno so obi be bisa se adentina eba loan nia na ye mu bi ma ye wo se ba ko ye nwemu ni niama ene aban munkita odi fo no nyama no ye ka se IMF de na ye pe no ade baako se wo koje IMF osika on control expenditure se ube sika no udi koto ade no ono na oba obusia no so be hwe se sika no de be ye niama ono oni no mudi nkita wo no wo so de be no obehwe no no aye ube kire de so se IMF na yesi ye ko no enye se edawo keke ti se loan facility bi a o sorry anope ya o se o president ati ase parliament ati ase ye ko ji loan de bi se o di nkrata bi kire IMF mpeinfo no mu hwem se ampa o mu betimi ama o loan na sa ni ama no kire se evidence of revenue mobilization se o kire se o kra o fie o no kra apo no o betimi aye ni ama o be gisika o hu se o ko bo bisia o bitimi hwe me fa ne se ira despite okọ eku bank city ya no ka so per 1000 Ghana ho eku bank ahekra ka ta ko mu ntro despite ira despite no ko e se me se Charlotte na ko jina ka je se be ji lo na no mo hwe me jina bi esi ya an hwe din bi a me ni nti me ma she coat ashimitai so mo hwe me a enti se wo that credit worthiness yes say o mo se mo hwe se uni amako yie ubetimi etua
ansa ya de amount
ase de ama
wo ka to ho asem na me de ba so se wo ka to nyina no se aban de hihye ba yi sa e-levy aban de ba yi e-levy no I can say na no ekwakodane oman yi ade ebetumi agina so de akiro man ne pa se e-levy ba ebetwa contractor for ka e-levy ba ebese e-levy ba ebese aso na nsan owura gabi ocheda akokwa be kan se e-levy no ye target no ye nuru ho
se me ni odi nketa hu bi efa e-levy ho ono so me twa ne krata wa e-levy na nkasa no on se e-levy no yen shase day one na poor consultations nkita odi a ebefa se yen di nkita wan sa yen fa e-levy ni mla no yen di nkita hu ni ye enti operators na ye from abef no so sa omo ana omo di edwa na omo de sa service no e ma ye no a ye from telecos no on crapo ebesi ne e kire se nyama me beka wa na mpefo no ekuku de mafo be aka se ya hwe ni yi a be man krofo no omo di dwa sa abef no so no eso ate ama eto na ye hwe se ye beje wo no ahwe aye nkonya no eno na go piem no eno ofre MTF ofre wu da ofre mpefo o meka kire wo se omo se sika na omo nya de bia no ana ka ban krapo etim 1% tax no eno so kra so ate na ete da ben eso te ye krapo ansa ye be she 11 na se okay se bibi a poto ka se panic withdrawal ya no dwane ko yi o sika adenti e se abefo no so no ye beje eto obi wo so ebesi ne nkrofo koso ye sa ade no eno ye baako mienu ne sen nkrofo so se ka meko sa abefo no so akodi dwa ni ateme eto ne de enka me de mefa ka ediska na ko nti alternative means omo na AUC adenti da obi gin se Jeff mete hey me 500 na me 300 a me di efa so no nko a obi wo ha enye dwadi o basika odi mo obi no 2000 3000 a odi be hwe nkwala ofie now sa 3000 no so no se o te tax wo so a anha e ba ko ese 120 Ghana na 60 obi so bet be afaka di sa sika na ede akọ nti no yi na adwen se e-levy no and the on fa so biom na ye mu bi ma na ye itu aban fo se onfa eto onko sa abefu ade do so no ye ni etwa hwe Superbet Amazon sa ebia akese na na omudi dwa ewo we say abefu no so no se tonaton obi ton dan obi ton kai obi eton niama wo so obi edidwa eto phones obi ton insio bucket ni niama akese won na ye say kan onye den onti eto ni mfi omudi em na se ka me di sika ma ni obi a ne sa niama ye be abefo no so emfa gadie no kan ye pese omudi oyi me omufim em say nkita hundie na anko so yi communication so eka ho
okay
ye kra so mbe communication enti anko ni yi ba wo be ha se si a me de me hwe IMF me twato no me ka kire wo se ewie ye kra wo mu ni se si a IMF so me ka kire niama a obehwehwe no obehwe so se wo de nhihye bi ato ema katahye ne proya na wo bibi a kire se eka bi ma wo de enene nansa no uchetua ni yi ana etwa to okro be so ahye se sika na wo gi dia eda bi na eko no wodi ni basa ana wodi koya adepa ye ko yinim nyama we na meka say aban enwonye cut down expenditure de bia ye ka say aban eka obo nkofa kan say amampeyin omampeyin ni pray your ko han ne niamei he eto ne niamei a wo pese ogi no de bia na nkofo obutwa company a sa niama we no mo kan na wa na obeba abebo obesia e wo bro he say wodi sika ni bi elti cathedral one ebeba obusia no aye say wodi sika bi e ko han play sa niama we nyina efe o eye efata skiti reason bi ayate enso omampeyin bi wo kro bi so a ni pray dada na odi tukwan ye die ya ye ken omampeyin bi beje ye die no euc ye sa niama we ndi nkita ho ye say eka no ye mbre na se ebeboa ye mienu improve revenue generation de bia mbetena wa ba free so me kan de bia say eba no revenue generation ya moa ye ho na ye niama ebe ma timemfo no CDD eye steady bi krata bi epie ye krata no so che say Ghana for about 80% say onya ombetua eto no bi aka ho enso so omo ye say niama na ye gye no ye gye eto na ye de ya na school hospital akwan ye ana ohe no ko yi a ye be ye another one ni say ye be boa amanyimu businesses one special eyes ubeko kro bi so no ekuku da mefo na omo ye business no aban ti mom tax exemptions etimi boom reliefs na omo factory no emu mbie emu tra niam menu besi factory no wura no ebetua tax bibiri e say watere obeji iduma efo bibiri na nkofo no mbe pf prof nsa no waje omo mu bi eno so be boa oman no ba ko so account no mitigate corruption he kata so se ne proye ye nya ade papa bia ma ye ho ase oman he what we do we motivate corrupt people obi timi bosike yi mu se pom owia no abegina public account committee no abesu nisu no ne de wai osun wia ne yapon bisa won se public account committee na me ne wo ko eja kwabna fiti the year 2000 na 2020 crapo omo de omo sa bosike ni ma epie mu auditor general report ni mu no ye yi omo pie ye no yakọ jiska no yaje recouping our monies no ehun ya papa enye so akobo kwabani ni se Jeff ni papa we no mu di iska no eno nkwa de hia se omo di iska no be ba no eno so hia ena improvement of debt management eno de eni enyum ne nenam ofano no oto ntiaka owura no
ya bedan de
ge bia uko jisika na
medase
tia ho ka
medase na ye hwe Dr. Sarsanti
Papa
yanko IMF John Kuma voice oboye no asemo kan ye no Prince Ambo tumi abo aman a John Kuma Deputy Minister of Finance okan susu de pen say yentie se na John Kuma kasai
that to be imposed on this country. We will not go to the IMF today, we will not go to IMF tomorrow, and we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power. Mr. Speaker, looking at the treaties that to be imposed on this country. We will not go to the IMF today, we will not go to IMF tomorrow, and we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power.
We John Kuma wono ana o yeso afabile chofis kasam nsem so yewura kan furata no ye finance minister na nkasa so e kasa e de fa IMF na ebinum so se edu brese yeko eno so ye se yenti kakra
Imposed on this country. We will not go to the IMF today, we will not go to IMF tomorrow, and we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power. Mr. Speaker, looking at the country with that to be imposed on this country. We will not go to the IMF today, we will not go to IMF tomorrow, and we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power.
Not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are dire. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you. Like when Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And only 2 of them came to say that we can do it. And the 10 went around the community murmuring, you can't, We are not people of short sight.
But if I hear some people argue that we should go to IMF. any government that goes to IMF has failed. And
where and someone I penny for Nintia may be a boss at a say, dear or my castle Ekurano, and in a bed chili, a year reckon for Rata, and a year John Kuma, it's should be a pain, bear Bosumi Bay me and Naya Tremuni say, Yanko I am for net, and co I am a fortune near John Kuma, so long as say MPP a wabemo. Or my son, I had so can say, Yanko I am for net, and I am a fortune. The nipa bi wo ho a mo yanko wo mu ni gidie e wo manum dan so no ye be doc simanso yanko ne enko china. What has changed within these 4 months?
Aya eja kwamna ne wo politics mu ne say yeta yenim no kware nso yedu ba bi a enka no kware na me anya mo a ene den usua manya asema wo ka kyerɛw sɛ aya nipa bi tumi de no kware tawo na obi sɛ sɛ mfaso ya wɔso ene den wɔn a woni mo man sika nkonta na ne hyehyɛ mekyerɛ wɔn asua economics finance ene ne akeka ho wɔhwɛ na wɔhwɛ ɔkwan a yɛ nam so sɛ ɔkwan a yɛ nam so no yɛn ansakra yɛn anya ne mawia ade yɛn bɛkɔ IMF abenyi fi ase no o che adaka jire o so ro nkonne nko chena ye nyina ne papam efise obi anim se IMF de wo kɔ hɔ a esa ne se wo be kwa kodu hɔ no wo na ambulance ma wo da stretcher so na wo be du hɔ no wani ni so nti nea wo pɛ wo mu se wo ho dare wo sese nti afa wo ba kyerɛ wo nea wo pɛ yese medisika ma wo be se mema osika kuru ne keke mema abosuma biesa koye na fa wo be ye wo saa ko na ko yi adwumayefo te so yibi adi yese enu nti da biara ye kasawa yebu man ne kasa esi ye hwe ye nkasa yi political communication na ya de a saa bani da biara me kasa a mitwa no mfom so se na nye nko ya abanhuru ye nyina ya won kasa wo meye eye dedodo wo ma ekwa chire dodo wo kan no wagya obi na eba ne ye de nga wanya mfensiri bi afam so that ye bekọ ye nkọ o ye nkọ ne ye nkọ chena o se botohu o samanwura ye ni ya kwa na ye nkọ ye na ni nyina ne faraba ye de keta se hye ne prowa e wo mem han se wo hwe transparent Ghana Integrity Initiative na wo hwe won a wo hwe corruption ho ne ma wo che se corruption keta se hye e wa hadodo na bibia ye ni akukudura ye de ye saade no ye de tuase ye de ngano o ya ma ho kan ubemu se ekoso da bia na nipaje na corruption no enye ne ye ne keke ne se o man no sika ewo ma ye hwere anka betuma ya de pan eho ne yen asem nti ubehu na sika etese wode yo man no ebegu nipa bi kotokum na ni amrante wade kan wode chele wode bo wode ye niam asabe ense na mfata mu o menim efei aya wo behwe ubehu se o man ni tumi ye eniha na sika bi afa ye nsem wo hwehwa wu state owned enterprises what is an saying wode won konta abeto abonten sika ya basa wo hwe accounting wo esua economics no wode niam abeto abonten na sai sika we he you know we say den asem ni efe ne fara baako baya ne se biribia no ye de ngani sa baako ade baako na ene den ne yedi ngani sa ne se eyi ne yehwe se ye benya sika wo mu hwe mpanimfu se sabi unhu obe ya wonsa okete ye nko yi labi ye na ma to boot ma twani nyina mu na na me sika kakra no busi ye twam eden ani so ade huni enti ase wo hu wen na nka to ho ekro so togum so ti ase nti anka me no ntra ho na nkakra emesusom wo se metwa gu yi labi eye kwan yi labi ene be yi akwanpa nsupa akanea yeni konfen free na wan yeni abo bia dan asemuni efe ye ta de propaganda won ye yo ban a ye nto ye mbuase ye kakra yanin ebi mada ye ni ye obi ni ho ye na chi hena economics egu ye nsa no se dwu en sama horo na wo kasa de nenin du baabi a na afei de eba ne saa afei wo ka kire hina se me wo case wo kwa IMF hi o menere kwai wo hwe videos afi ase ba bonten ebe me ho apa video da ko me hwe se na MPP mpadimfo wo be kasa afa wo yi wa no den won to wo ase kasa no na bibia no esaw party no communication won kasa no won tan hwe me doctorate PhD no e political communication kasa ben na obeka ebe to nipa asum a emfansem bebre ma wo kasa obe som so kasa woka na wo nkyerɛw kasa emu da ho na obi ahu ayera wo
woka propaganda
me ba ho na size of government yedi fi abanya ba afofuri ni edikan ene ekomi nipa asua amanyosam woni mo man ho nhyehyɛ ne niamapa se abang no suo esododo abang se dabi mo ntwan na resource ni ayebɛyɛ mu behu sɛ ɛho wonfa so na yetua sampanimfo ka na yeji sika horo yɛde ma wɔn yɛyɛ sɛ aban size no ene ka yetua bebre hwɛ uhia nipa 100 uhia just 30 25 ubedi omanyi so ebisa me ka kyerɛ wo sɛ na misine pi misine ta sɛ wo ministries a chief directors won and run oman yo won eni nti uhia political heads kakra bi keke wo beye sɛ si as a minister bi ene wa public servant won aben bi abeba beko wo ho won ne wo yo man nti afi den ni na yeye ne sa ni ayeye ne sɛ ye ma ye mfafo nnwuma ye ngabusuafo ye nnamfo ye ngadofo party fo na de ba kwan a edi ye ngabedua ye sa de ne ubomu sɛ obi a sabe ni nimdie ni ho ori ntumi nya hwe ye de na ba o ye party ba wo bisa sɛ dan ade papa no de bebre ye ntumi nka o ye party ba afi waste ye disika ye niema bi a ehun hia wo sika ma dan mato na wo mfa nya de pa enkosi hwe ye disika kosi cathedral nso ye ni industry mbe anka men konta akura ne se sika na ye rekwa akota achi no kura ne ye gina ho so ye dis industry na public service commission mon son so yi nipa oha na won ko fi ase wuria na frobia Ghana fu emesram enyom asede matua mu tax mawie president your credibility pa enu nti ordinary onyam gina ho se me mo ma me 1 cedi na me fem pia wonya nipa 30 million Ghana what they can wo be si factory a wo be fi nipa 100 akọ 200 debi a wo se wo je sika nbe koko seller obema won 100 Ghana obema 50 Ghana wo si factory na wo si hospital wo beti wanin eno ni ade ankrofo be ba o mahua wo si central region wo si eastern region hospital industry ya kranka obi be fi ba bia ba ha beye ba bia ankrofo be sa wo ho yare na nipa be penuma ho den asem ni na ne edi so honest leadership hwe ubu amanga ye de ntumi ma opɛ ye de yankoma ato so uye urade a wo na ho sɛ wo be ya aman enu nti bibia no enkoyi a nya akukuduru ka kyerɛ enye dan ne be ye obisa enye ya wie won a woni nkonta woni musa anyeme no wakasa saa wo ye saa nsu afa wokɔ sɛ wo te ase sɛ wo mama ewu na wo se wada obenyan abagba mpesi ama wadi ama yare sɛ wo te ase wo se ye efe wo beti wanin na mpampa agu abonten ene ye wo he na fei bribia no so ye de yan ani sam baabi ba ko pɛ aha ne yenya sika ye nhwɛ baabi foforo ye wo niema bibia metwa na bi sɛ hwɛ omani niema ye betuma nya sika wo ho no edo so hwɛ mi wura ne yere kan ye nwie nsa nkɔbɔ no sɛ fo magudi a ye to gold no ho niema no ye tɔn no raw esi edi biribi kan na mi achi hwɛ usua wo esua innovative economics mi wura obɛkyerɛ koko ye tɔn koko na ya tɔn beans no nkoya intellectual property wo hwɛ Japan won koko a na nsɛ me ne me nkrofo bia research ye to ma nipa bi sɛ wanhwɛ ebetuma won fa mu o mani egosi hwe ye nhwehwɛ mu hu sɛ wo tɔn koko ye tɔn raw beans no na intellectual the ayo friend the intangible asset no account na wen ubu Japan koko no akiro Ghana premium enu nti yankonta na nhwehwɛ mu kyerɛ sɛ sa Ghana premium no tua $1 ma Ghana ban all over the world me say ya report na da ho me can pin what dey dem what are then $1 from Ghana bank $1 nti enye koko no kwa na woto na then the non ayo friend intangible no so what you say you know wages sika wo sa concept you betumi de akọ ye nhwehwem ye de ka ayo friend ni ye sang de call share butter ye de call fish ye de call say sanye men nyina betumi aboa yen ne de aye nti fa ne say wiase ba bia Switzerland onua koko oye chocolate fe nti sanye men nyina ye benya $1 sa di ye de yeden na fe baby ye di nga bedua ne say ye nga ye nga adwene say nye party a ye ntie bibia say nye party ba no be men adwene pa bi ayo man a hwe ne ye nga tomi me kaja say wo magana fo wo se me frɛ nipa what apo economics nipa oha wo be dan wo man ye ni wonye party fo ye ntu ye hu so aden na Korea Japan no mo ne ma won adu baabi o edu baabi na won hu say insure me no won wotu won hu si wo America no utumi tu won say sadi mo ya mo se ma ben wo ho nipa say mo fa no kwa mra ne enko de bia na me kese say kwa me nkoma kan kase bi o say organization decides everything ye boya ye hu ya ye tumi ya di nyina say what ya say Ghana ha na wo se wi nipa oha ahanu won aben economics ye wura no matiti say mo mra mafinte super bi tunyan num na ye hu say baabi ye du mbe wo be yin afi na esan party 70 o ete say ye MPP ni ete so ye NDC ni enu nti biribia na adwena ka nipa bitim so dia
doc we de me twa no wo kasa mu no wo ka asem bi e de fa propaganda ho say eno eye bibia aha o man yi pa moayo kwan bia so ma o man nko se de sesi ko na statement na Dr. Bawumia year 2015 no
yo
o ka sisu dia say I said they believe in their own propaganda. And when government was cautioned about the scale of borrowing, the government responded that they will borrow more. Now that their propaganda has been exposed by the economic reality. And it's our time now womutu and disabanfo na wontie na ye refer to as propaganda. Can we as well Ebeka say then the propaganda is not about NDC alone. The propaganda per their Dr. Bawumia in 2015 is with MPP as well.
Oh, so what's here? Amanyosama propaganda or among politics mopa. Atoro ne nada. That no friend. Atoro nada in se chinchim kasa anya no kware. What can I tell? Oh, where who's adi kuruwe? Oh, Debbie, me by name see her. Oh, we are on Teda. So what I say? A woman we have her. So what I say? Propaganda. Share if you ask to come and come mereso. Woko to about 1951. Propaganda be better about things. What's a CPP for? CPP for say, don't want to make with bribe, so we be delay independent. Then as a money, say you pay independent, and more, Maje a gumuko to kumunti, you could delay independent, and yet, and yanopar, a yatoro, a casevi. Ediachi, who can say Kufu office, who can say Santufusi with your woman. What is Santibian come baby? Nipem or the chichi nipem now when ya to me obakacho adidi o haye ye wo bekom enye no kwarakora and na say honest leadership so wo read your man so ya kan kware ade enkoye eyi me na mekan me no me ho wo ka say president Kufu ka kire yen say when you bia wo upper what west a odin be minister wo ka say akasa na Kufu say den azamani yewura sanwa no wunya den okoba no say mesram menya Professor Kasim Kasanga se wo bekai wode na bai nti se wo bu manga ye nim se hintu dua baba eba paimu na ka kire na ma nkrofo ho kwan wo bebua wo hwe omen yen ohawe wo men mu anyina no nipa wo ha wo ngaben ne ye ya wo mu ne se etore bia wotumi fa Ghana ni ba bia waben na komen bi so nansi amete Ghana ni ba bia oye nkonya wo Nigeria se wo ti ase na ubisa wo hu se eden ni owura olenu owo nasa won na di robot go wim koye niama ye wo won apeti wiase ya ba bia na isa na party nti oyi miura ne otie economics guni tim se dwui what am friend is answer on kasa party kasa onkura sa party card so what na won kasa wo studio ade wo ye nose aha na obe ye nose agoyo man enko se hwe so what you say na sanye man edian abedudia se sirante unum sirante wo se wa wonte yesa banga onte obeti onte na sopam onfa nya hwe abanhuru aye nya wo for public nyina o yenti obia musu na ye Rollins mo on sauti musu na ye yenti obia o yere nko IMF yensi woda ye beye e ba ni dengni ye honest leadership nefi eje kwadwe de ye bedu ba ko bi o meti wona medwen ho a aye me bi se mo se so ye wonipa wo asua o men sika nkonta na ne hyehyei papa wo betumi eso yang economy mu a
ye ni bi
ye wo bi na aden na tia ben na merebo pa
say you was strong economic management
tia don penis cars no mu nyina wo yanua aben na liver menye ahometo esa ne se dingi na meka sa if you say wo ha won say party bia recall election na so wo position wa ben ma o se me economy me de be jira wo ni me ntia tsa ihwehwe ma kire se wo koto aba ade nipa jira so no woto aba ma nipa ne di kan the economy if you say okom ye yaw a hungry man is an angry man and nti o say economy ni be yi nti wo aban and the party for won ka say oh ye be economy single digit inflation ye be ye say wa ma nipa yirishem wo want to me be ma wo ba ne wonya tumi a wo pa won ta megu ye adwuma ne hu abani ne first term single digit what the body roof a baby yan aye krabehwe ye yi ye de akyerem so what say what kwa the same party fourth republic ade mehu wo be destroy the economy economic principles wo beto akyere na wo chiche sika miwura economic theory ben wo chiche sika mankrofo buo matches adaka 50 what smile what one nti eyimu friend economic fundamentals wo say ne yan akoto aba yeto aba wi a na yen say be fias nti wo hwa eye wo friend build destroy build sa cycle no say yen america a na eno ne ade ba ko mehu nti wo behu say bribia no ye sa ne me na ne me bi say ne say ye wo ho adwena na aya na me jetum say ye mpanifo no wo men kodu achi a wo bitima manage economy ne to so bi men ko nta ba ko no ye bi sa ne to so bi me say wo bitima ye economy na o wontumi nya dia ene na wonim nanso wontumi nya ananso say wonim kura mo sa nkonta na fi ne to so bi sa o so meye ne sane ame ye bi isa ni na menya wo hundi na wo hwa sa nya ma bi ni sane nyina eye no ko edu ba bi a na ananga wo mu ne say oh ye behwe ye beye ni ye betumi anye ye be ko IMF isan sa IMF no ye mama wo ho a wa ye duan da wo ba wo say ya mofra bi a ye tete won a wo mu bira bi a wo tie won nti no wo o so me ko aware okọ wo tie na okọ enye ya wo be fi adwuma baban na orenua mo wo wufi adwo ye den meja aware no wo say suban enu bi ni ye ya na enya o ye kwa IMF isan say ye kwa ye nsa bekanji enu nti bibia no ye explore ye hwehwa kwan a ebeba ye niema ma ye hu adwo ye na sa niema no kotia ye me wure ye economics wo ngasua wo aben wo ma ewurade ahome agu wo adwunu mu say wo me ye o menye onka bibi panjire ne ye hu ntoye
me da se papa Dr. Sasante na messages bebre aba Frank Apio say this government share national service allowance for 9 months no pay. And he used it to he used to say yet is a council and so come the year. And now IMF asemo on my Ghana Japan Okumwa Fidelis. I like the man in the white African way. He has the outline he has outlined the great plan for the government. So about far and then he has some so the beer to say bam and ya dia woman afa. Niahwe my main court doctor answer ma kwa uche so na ma bi say doctor say you can IMF economic bailout any bailout and then lecture and what should we expect and we can bailout and then HSC ye ko bail out you could bail out saying and then the yen kwan say be free maba.
Okay, thank you very much Agya Kwabena. So Steve, okay. Last time I was here, I told you that on the economy we have not done well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I told you, sir, it is so critical that we have to do something drastic. But I am not sure, sir, they will have the political will to do so. Now, IMF, and the last time be beside me say inflation there. Some small things they don't really understand. Now meaning say UTV you have a very huge audience. Into a lot of these things, me bombarding say me explaining small no munye den omuntiasie because the way forward for us as Ghanaians ni say let us try to speak truth to power. Let us try to be able to tell people say politician be can be enye anukra. We should be able to explain it to them. And that is what we have to do because we are educating the public. IMF, International Monetary Fund, it is just like a bank. It is just a bank. The difference between that bank and the banks that we know in Ghana, like Ghana Commercial Bank, and I say EcoBank, and whatever, say, IMF, no, omu fast come individuals, omu disikama countries. Na say omu bema uskanso, you should have had to be a member. And as a member, it means you are a shareholder. Unsu usika wom. And sana yedi ye sa bank no. Now so a krobi mu wo ho a omusika no e dooso chin obi no mo. Inti sane eba ni say, oh, there are some countries omu nye developed. Inti omu hia mo say bibi hawama yenko na yenko yeden yenko mboa wo. Inti it is a bank. And so say we a businessman and I say na be kind of business mind. Now we a business it is just okay say you have a bank say we a juma we betumi akọ bobu say wo ho e di aye wo business now wo business no grow and then you do what you pay. So going to IMF is not the issue. The issue is what we do before we go to the IMF. But I say, you know the saying, the chickens have come home to roost. Normally roosting is like where they sleep. But this is an English saying now. Eka say, if you have done bad, you have done evil, it will follow you. And Ransumikaya say, money has principles. If you don't use it properly, no doubt it will come back to you. That is, it will come to hurt you. You remember Mark Antony eulogizing Julius Caesar. It says the evil that men do goes after them. The good is often interred with them or with their bones. Now the point is that we are not celebrating this, but it is time for us to understand that we should be able to be honest with ourselves in our economic policy decision-making processes. I am telling you that it has been a major problem. Sometimes, those days when they were talking, I say, oh, this one too, is it matter? If you're a businessman, and by the grace of God, you think there's more scabby or pocket kakrabi into would you won't call bank bioma. And also, idea over call chrome say, me call bank, me second call bank bioma. That one is not an issue. So, if you play this propaganda for so long, and now you are the same person going there, that is the problem. The evil is actually right with you. Right with you. But for me, I am heartened because you see, sometimes say our finance minister, I have listened to him several times, has never talked economics. Say who can say the state is like this. Inti say bibi ayen say, na yen say, and now alternative no ni mayen who say senior say na ebe no. I have not seen that. Respectfully. But everything, let's go for loan. Everything, let's go for loan. And when I friend bond, you know, loan is the same as bond. It's just the bond is the same as loan. It's just because of the duration and who is getting it, and you term it like that. And that one too is because somebody is benefiting profusely.
Benefiting us in what? On which way? No, depending benefiting.
So you see, when you are going for bond, this time you are going as a private entity. And so there's somebody who should lead you and go to that institution to take the money.
Yes, that can be between.
Yes, the person will charge. And we know what is happening. That is what has happened all over all this world. Until it was in some people's interest and favor that we were doing bonds. And I'm like, so can we not think a bit more economically, economics-wise? Look, when you have a medical doctor consulting, they have a big book beside them. When there's an issue, they go and refer to it. They don't have everything in their minds. That is why you meet people. It gets to a time that we go to somebody who has authority in political science. And when we do this, what will happen to us? Somebody who has authority in this area, even in economics, in political, there are several areas. If we do this, what will happen to the people? Welfare economics. Somebody who has that expertise will tell you, say, this part of the economy, no, a best suffer. But we don't do that. One thing that I've cried over is that we spoke about the bureaucracy, that is, the directors of the ministries. In fact, if Ghanaian media will begin to talk to these directors, it will help us a lot. Because a minister sitting in that ministry probably just came last month. What does he know about that ministry? Compared to the director who has been there for 15, 20 years. That man will be able to tell you a lot. And sometimes because of political arrogance, you go there and you want to lord it over them. They will just be there. And your time will just pass and you go. I am saying that, I am happy that we are going to the IMF. What does it mean? It means that you can't just wake up and Uber for 10,000. Say, would you talk 2 balls of kinky? And it means that you can't just wake up and say, I am chartering a flight for this trip worth $200, $300, $400, $500, $600,000. It means, you can't just wake up and be mentioning programs, Agenda 111, when we have not even seen one. You can't just wake up and say you are doing cathedral, so you are moving money from here because they are watching like eagles. In fact, as we speak now, the IMF and the World Bank and all the international finance institutions know more information about us more than ourselves. Until by now, they are waiting with their term sheet. I wish, I'll be part of the team, or I'll be the manager on the Ghana, facility, so that I will input some conditions. If a bank is going to give you loan, or more conditions, whatever the case will be, they give conditions. So why is that? If these international finance institutions are giving monies to countries, they should not give them conditions. Because these are monies that you pay. But it is also in their interest that the money are yedi mauno, ube yeden, ube yusun ye, na ube to me atia. Right now, in fact, when they say we will not go today, we will not go tomorrow, that has been the agenda. Believing that, look, if they, sometimes you'll be driving and your car engine is about breaking down. But you try to make sure it gets you to your destination. When you get down there, you breathe a sigh, hoping that somebody should come and pick the car now and go and fix the engine. But the engine has broken down downhill. So never said 3 miles, 2 miles, I will be car engine, I break it down. And so it is living before us now. It is good. They believe that, they were never going to go, so that maybe, just maybe, as for break the idea, is just a normal, whatever. By 2025, when, let's say, a new government takes place, and it becomes critical that they have to go say, even we had COVID, and all of these things, we didn't go to IMF. The sickness has been there. As a matter of fact, IMF would have had to go to IMF somewhere mid-2021. But we were waiting for agitations, for all of these things. And now, whether we are in ambulance or a stretcher, I think how do we call it? The oxygen bag is on us. We have to be able to understand that when somebody speaks against a policy, it is not that the person is against Agya. It is because it will not inure to our mutual benefit.
Yeah, one more can say me for I am some semi. I quite remember. I think Thursday no cry. Yinya professors be me ensa. And the kasafa will say, one more share na kai yen kwa IMF no. And na chisu ka so the IMF no ye kwa. Omo ne omo nya adwene. Nipa bebre aka. But information if ye aban ho ban say ye kwa IMF a free senior high school on betwam nursing training allowance on betwam teacher training allowance one betwam more special free senior high say on betwam enti say ya kasa asam na so on betwam me wa na ye nkoye no you could no kasa ye ntwam who do we blame?
Okay, so you see, these are all fear mongering. Oh, if we go, we'll do this. There is a bigger thing in the pocket that they don't want it to be touched. I am saying that now you will not have the free hand again. Because you see, IMF policies for countries, every time now people agitate, say, these institutions, they don't help us. But the truth of the matter is that when they come, they bring stability. If you watch, since we have joined IMF, okay, let's start from even 1992. Of course, we joined in 57. 1992, how many times we've gone there for, support? The moment we go in there, you see inflation stabilizing. You see some discipline coming in. You see, unnecessary spending taking a bit of a different strand. Into such discipline, people are not ready to live with it. They wish that someone else, into those things, they may say, review this policy. Free SHS. You see, I don't believe that free SHS has been successful. Because you can ask my senior colleague here. Let's go back and look at the pass rate from maybe even 2000 and look at it way down to today. And then you see the quality. How many straight A's do we have? If you take the straight A's out, how many of this? You see that it has actually wrecked our education system. So it's not so much about free. You can have free certificate that doesn't get you a job. And so we have to look at how we can make these things meaningful. They will say, review it. Teacher training allowances. Let's see how we can turn it around. We got to a time that they say, let's turn it into loans so that they will do this. All of these things are policy options that we can look at. Going to IMF here, it is going to be tough on us, but it is better for the IMF, these financial institutions, to be tough on us and put us on the right path. It is a period when we are out of it and things have stabilized, we'll begin to live the way we want to live.
Me that's it. Walanyo, mami, ayi owura afenyo market saka sembi. Me pese ye twe no ba mu hwese no betumi aboa discussion ya. We say NDC echo IMF due to mismanagement of the economy. NPP echo IMF due to pandemic, which is the COVID-19 titru and Ukraine and Russia and Tokwa. Per statement to cry a babonteno. Mammy said me who are namen kind na dear could you upon Kroma at the buyer, Mammy she namen kana yenfa and social. Mammy she ewaha. Aha. Okay.
Doc. What you say? What no? Answer the mirror while on your mad. Lawyers walk and Casabi. It doesn't matter what Grushio said. And on a head, and your Grushio's kind of
so kind.
Mismanagement at the young home.
And say pandemic.
Pandemic at the young home.
The mamma Bema Ebufuka say, I call my Kumam. Say, or no, I can't give you a far political science. You do baby as a political communication. I say a Ghana politicians in America respectfully, from the president to the last politician on this land. Now, we are briefing more about, I mean, briefing, me lower language to brief them about political communication. One of, as a background holder of the development communication, I marry so much into what he's saying. He said, in some can you see, when you are hungry, the communication sometimes it takes me off the guard. I didn't try to make us me pache wo Ukraine war no if I cathedral yes no Ukraine war na ye no Ukraine war if expenditure high expenditure no Ukraine war na no Ukraine war no Ukraine war and a high presidential plane in mind.
Yankai Asama Kojo Ponkruma de Baye. Also, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, has authorized the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to commence formal engagement with the International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, inviting the fund to support an economic program put together by the government of Ghana. This follows a telephone conversations between the president and the IMF managing director, Miss Kristalina Georgieva, convenes Ghana's decision to engage with the fund. At a meeting on June 30th, 2022, Cabinet indicated its support for the decision. The engagement with the IMF will seek to provide balance of payment support as part of a broader effort to quicken Ghana's build back in the face of the challenges induced by the COVID-19 pandemic and recent Russia-Ukraine crisis. And sign Kojo upon Nkrumah.
It doesn't matter what Gosho said. So what he has said. Ubeti machira na de mekwai me no kware wo mu se wo na de asem hwe enye no ne hia ne de wo kɔ hɔ no wo hɔ saa nkwanta ne yempɛ sɛ wo so ya wo wa so ya wo enu nti hwehwɛ okwan a wo de befi hɔ atem tietia na da bia me de kwai na de me kodi hɔ no hwe agya kojo wo hwɛ saa ne ma enu ni political communication ne you know nsɛmaya ye dandan ne saa ye mfa ne kwan bibia na ye ngakotew baabi o yi na ye sɛ no kware wo ho ne se ye nso mu ye afi ye nsa nti anu edura e wo ho
and they said ba beda se enti walanyo wotie said ye Kojo Nkrumah de ba ye ya release or ne sasha se ne chese wo hwia covid ne no aha dwene ena owura ayonuya for Fenyo Market say NDC went there due to mismanagement of the economy and NPP are there going there due to pandemic.
It's quite unfortunate that our leadership don't speak honest to us. We are just not being honest. I mean, we are there, and Dr. Kanyano. As to the leader will be money coin, it doesn't matter. What shows that we haven't mismanaged our system right now? COVID-19 by how many years? We've had support from the World Bank. We have citizens pay certain levies and taxes on products and services they are paying for. So why should that be a reference again at this point? At this point is that we've no money to probably manage the little funds we have. We've done a lot of wastage. We've mismanaged the economy already. And moreover, before my two options is either we are implementing the e-levy, which came with its own suggestions of communication, how it was communicated. In Kwabena, we organize a lot of town hall meetings just to rubbish what others are proposing about the e-levy and how to implement it. People were branded as though they didn't like the country. But the e-levy has not given us the needed funding. Now we are going to the IMF for assistance. I mean, this will be like the 7th or 8th time Ghana is going to the IMF for a bailout.
17th.
That we are going. 2015. That we are going to IMF for a bailout. It means that at every point in time, there is a course that leads us there. By making reference to what less someone there, doesn't really solve the problem at hand. What matters is that once we are there, let's see how we come out of it. How do we come, the way forward, how do we come out of it? Now that we are there. Agya will be our yare. Then you are asking, say, when mama yare. Find ways of taking medication so you get healed. And once you get healed, live a healthy life. That is what we should be looking at. We have gone there. They might give us the money or not. Let's hope they give us. If they do, let's manage what we have so that we can exit calmly. The fear of, say, cancel free SHS and other government in policies is neither here nor there. We've not gotten there yet. As to whether it will be cancelled or not. The problem is that if there's so much wastage happening within that space, and the IMF constantly feels that your policies that's what has led you to this state, we should eat humble pie and find a way of tweaking it to be able to sustain us, rather than pushing blame. Over the years, our politicians have been too partisan in the leadership. Let's be honest with ourselves. If you are not able to do something, seek for advice. We have people in this country who are vested in a lot of things, who can advise, who can propose. Let us not brand every other person with a party. We will not make progress.
What kind of business question is say? For instance, will be the message. I would like to read that message based on that. Something media business question. Or say a friend Bernard and another Bernard at Champon, Kofurudia no free buy. Or say, Agya, the economic situation at hand now is global. We are even fortunate to have a visionary leader today. If to be NDC, if the NDC think they are better managers of the economy, as being trumpeted, let them bring their alternative solution. If not, they should start unnecessary ranting. Okay. Mapenda da mahama eko ma lectures bi. Emo kan say I'm so to the crossroad. Or the suggestions be makumaku 16 or 20 me refika kratin 16 or 20. And what the buyer say woman hwe na nka omo ye ne sai ebetumi aboa. Ba pe ensem wo ka no all the time no government no so ka say womo e ka say ye ade nema nkoye no omo for alternative solution bi amba. On for solution bi amba. When I say a global issue, global economic, we are seeing now which are the Ghana is not isolated. Yeah, so you can be. It will become we say global. We have to accept it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, nobody is defeating the fact say this crisis are global. Nobody have said that. But if you are in a country, if you have family head, you have limited funds to even feed your family members. You don't go and spend that money to buy a car or to go and build a house. Under funds, you manage it so that your people in the house can survive the crisis. That is what we are talking about. It's a global thing. What we say a global, no, over small funds, no. You don't mismanage it to go and spend on luxury items, it doesn't help in sustaining the immediate basic needs that you need. That's what I was.
Me that say.
I'm back pass.
I'm sorry.
1 minute.
I'm sorry, ma'am. And now me kind of say a global.
Right.
And what you said the kind of you say mismanagement, you say pandemic. Ningina hurudu ade bakuna kwansenkuru no ma na yakokoto sisi. Enti the stand of the government, more especially the communicators as we speak. Right. So the music as a found, the African market is then quite an example.
Right.
Are they being realistic when it comes to accepting responsibility? Say be a day we na ke say again say ni anya ni say. Until baby a yekono, yenko ni anyina kamum so mine.
Let me change his title today and make him a medical doctor. He's a doctor. They should come and consult him. After the discussions, baby, I may fear baby on the back on the mini on the back on. When say prescription or prescription be mom. Also because I can say or list near man. Near money to say cutting down expenditure before COVID, before the Ukraine war. You should buy any abrabono, any problem no, and then high expenditure. We have poor revenue mobilization. Yewo corruption catastrophic pro e wo ha. Yewo poor debt management. Ansana as at 2019 ko he how we what was our debt stock? Any e ka ye de debt stock no na ya he. Ansana COVID be say 2020 no. Na ya he. Na oba so a honest stakeholder discussions na yekoso no. Who say de bia na ya kwa amanyo say na ye nko ne sa. Me de pass ye kitaundi a ye di wa nyina no. Nyama enum ya mebo any problem no. Na oba hwe COVID. De bia obi be boss say COVID the ND case ni nyina ba na mesere. He ya ma ye mfi say COVID ba ye no. Na onuguchi wo capacity obetimi aye adwuma bi. Ye de come frontiers. Ewie chire no frontiers ye profit $50 million. Yanko yenim ye ko SARS Cafe Heritage Fund mo ye first cafe bia bebre nti COVID ni ba na ko yesa ye use yesika egu ho no ye ko yi sika ni bia de be ye ni ama ye mu hu konta ye ko so repayment of essential services sa free water ni free electricity no ye sam betu ya honka me pato tie mi ye pa menya bre was asem we COVID me pesa meti sa COVID bebre asem ni bebre e dia ye de ma me se COVID nti ye ma me no ye ma me tia ye enso so sika no so heritage fund ye ko yi fi mo e de be COVID no amanone foreign support mo de be ma ye no so wo ho MTN ene ne nkrofo mo so mo bo aye etisi hospital ni amano sa support no so wo ka ebe wie chire na de me pese mitene se ye nya 1000 e ma COVID ho ye yimu 600 ene ye de ye na se na aka ukọ ma se ba bejahia ye bisa COVID ho sensem no ochina wo se na 10 cedis ochina ti na se 13 cedis honesty minya penya kan no asem na oba free NHS panic na o mo kan ye na insiase ye share free NHS no ye ra penya ohwe ye sika asem so honorable Oforiato no aka say it was not prudent to do free NHS outrightly adentra ukọ amanone a omo ye free ni crap omo ye no for day school students entina ebema eno ehun kana ye den abrase na meti hei me mra pay info omo ti hei wo hwe doctor hwe lawyer na wo se wo ko tua ni best school fees amana lawyer ni ene ni yere accountant omo tua omo best school fees yeso aye ni bi wo se wo ko tua ni ba school fees free amano mama nka che obibi there's something I always say I'll repeat it on your show all over the world there's nothing free. It is the statement here the curricula you confuse here. It is free at the point of need. And you do this once for very poor people. It's a poor policy. Adebia oya, wo de be so ahiafo ene omo pre no, wo so masene. Na ode twe omo aba so no. Enti wo yes aniama we be ma osikeni ene ohiani omo ntem kwa da hawo no. Na Portuguese because the gap between the rich and the poor wo be miem na ekensi ani. Enu ti na yes ade no. Ni kwata ne se enne nkomodi a edi nyina ni a ye wo ma menwa be ma kojo oponkruma me ne no Yakob John Esako University of Cape Coast na mo ni nkaka menwa ketwa no o ye kasfo de me so me ye kasfo de coincidentally ba ko so a menwa pin ba ko a madam fo ba ko a so bo ni afenyo market ono so na me ncha de o ye mi mate o ye madam fo pa enye kasfo de fo o mu ntie me no kra da ho ne se e ka na aba e ka na wo ho ya hwesu yi cut expenditure aban ho ka no minya penken ontimi mfa minister be say ye minister say oh Ghana ye be say 80 something to 90 something embu Ghana kitwa yi na United Kingdom UK on minister say an ko America on minister say an na o percentage not mo say ye de na boro so usan so ba corruption catastrophic prayer sika ye bo ho ka no sa sika na ene ko hwe busin aye ko bo den na unya sika be 1000 e de hwe fie na ye ko hwe e ka wo fie a eka bia wontimi ngira enchechire mu yi a wo ka ne ye be 600 cedis ehunti ne ukoboka akoyere akobobusia a betie nsi hu so aka ho yenko yenim no nyama bi wo a ye betimi aye same taxes same product tobacco ni sa akọ ne nyama no ye mata so e wo ho ebe ma esika ni bi two luxury taxes wo ka se empire bi ye de ka ho ka bi ba ya ye be etuo bi wo ho ene ye twisan ye ye tuo bi a ye papa ebe ma skafo ne hiatem ye twi tasa efe bi taxes ese skeni echia bebri no hieni echia kakra eno ebe boayen wo hwe atobut amenyo apeyin ka se yi omo san fambra enye tobut ho ba omo fan ko DVL na yen fan to ye DVL fi na ka bia betia no Into tobu to the enti ana yesi almost say eyi ne say traffic ni niamenti wo de mo fanko DVA ho bia ho ne sansan ji sasika no wo ba so a local industry they say the tax cement special ice this ankrofo yi ye mo tax exemptions ka ye de be ma timamfo na ye chen ye de ba ko ma MNEs multinational enterprise o mo ba be di dwa no ne krakra so kan so ne say let's have the opportunity to hold an honest stakeholder consultation. Say when you be making you say can o pepper say o be ka ho ni ndi say kita ko e be fa o man ka ene bosi aye ko boyi mu. Say ye bibi sa ade ba ko be piem ni say ye ndi kan ndi kita ho fa increasing our revenue. Say ye to oje ni sika ye sika sem ye be boa company no mu ntre no mu ma sika. Expanding the tax base is important. 2 ye mbo modern catastrophe proye no ye bia me say me dia me what me tin kwam dia ofa me nye saint enso ma menka no kure bi nkyira wo catastrophe proye koso wo Ghana no eto de bia ote a na oti paawo adenti a base khalifa o say dem mo friend e wo United Arab Emirates ne a ochro o draw eto paper so no o yes o no je 1.something million dollars Ghana katidi aye besi enso entrench base khalifa no enti ka Ghana nipa no podro aye no so be $2 million aka me bisa wasem enso yenko yedim no waje sika eko be se $20 million e ma sa adwuma na oye no $25 million oti awon enya asefem enye oya wo e bodam e bomidam e kire se kan wo ba epo na wo be boss se sa 1.5 na $2 million na obi ji o Arab Emirates on kan me no be twim me nti ase se wo be ji me $2 million se me de no krapo no ne drone wo form na ka wanya hwambre wase a wanso so abafi e be bo me kro no e de go 20 million we emfa NDC ne MPP ho Ghana din mu no ye sika no nkitenwudi e be o sa stakeholder no yenko PH no yema enye Ghana asem ni o hweso no we obi a wo abamu enne no oni abamu because oye MPP ni ho na Ghana fonti ase no obi ani abamu se owo MPP ni ye swan se obeye adwuma ko he krata na omode swan e de beye adwuma man no omo swan ma Ghana akonwa ne se omo be son Ghana nti wuwie na wo asem wo tochi ma enu nti na ye de kokoto a ye fa wo nko se ye tro MPP letter head so ye de Ghana aban e krata na be tro catastrophe proye etutu ye de ya nipa nyina muma yentrasi yi say me maka say Ghana is not a poor country. We are only a poorly managed country. Say hey nyama yi asese am nyama be ma penkan ye ya ye hye nyama na otro wo no ne ye hwe ye so ne ye cutting expenditure ye improve revenue na ye corruption ne ko
abeboa ye doc ma me ya bra ye be luba kono krabo mama se ma be mienu pe na fe ye hwe broad consultation was one a year former president Mahama Krakan ye say be aduru no ye nyina yentra se so man na ye hu be bia de o man ne be fa I think say o kan sasem no sanke faide ye adwuma nke betu abo okwan bi so ana ka echi se betu de adwuma
enkechi hwe amanyosem no yo amanyosem no ye kan e ade ba e dialogue kan na menka bi enye monologue inki se obeka na maka bi e menti ase ye bobo hu a ye beba begina ba bi ese o eyi ne ye se o ti ase ne ba se meka untie e me ma okwankra no waka me ntie o da bi wonyo man sa esan se enti no so yo man e yo dodo amemu ododo enu nti se wo ye se wo nkwa a ni otwasa no wo so nim se na achiche wa achi a esan se tikro enkwa gina nti wo ka no bi akabi na nkrofo kire wo ngadwene hwe nipa bebre wo ma won ho kwan wo man mu a mi se wo Ghana yare bia wo wane adure bi se nipa bi be fa won kwa man bi so ko ye adwuma na wo ma won sika na ade nti a wo ye ma wo mo ya na de bia no ehun se na ye de sobo ye akotew baabi ni ye se o eyirma manage economy ni ye nti ne ekọ oyi ye sa he sa asem ye akafi independence yan course nyina no ye se o ye colonial rule obroni ba di yan so nso ye hu aman a aborofo di so anei won afa won tama pafura eno den we discipline ye nye discipline eni ti na woro kwa IMF so what you say esa na say we se to size of the government we say me dey tell so what you say corruption me dey hwe sika na fa wo say magu indiscipline wo kwa IMF okura na aba o say jeyi me dey ma otu siri hwe say obenum nsu ya na wa no ma ba da wa achi asema bie what niema no ba kire no wanya a o ma obi o nti bibia mi wura meye na mbisa wo say adan na wo twen so obi mfa ba enya akon so IMF mra ansa na wa ye discipline wa dwen sa ade no say discipline na de indiscipline na de akwa adan nti na ye hu say indiscipline nti efe di yenso ma ye be discipline.
Would you say the government ni a fail since we reckon Japan chere say aban bi e be ko IMF bia na wa fail?
Oh ye wo home no how no ba bi e di bedu na ya asem mi say wo hwe kura se no man ye be totu afa no ne ma wonim ba bi a ye ba be ko hwe sa abani why hot wonim ni ties da se niema ntia minim se no be campaign minim MPP minim se no be campaign e so many mu no se medical kire se wo ko campaign na ye hwe economy se economy na nyina na so wo nga pre wo MPP mu minim ba bi a wo be pre e sei amanyosam no so ugina o say a contest of ideas and referendum of your work adwuma waye then adwuma no obetima ye sezi ameka in fact 2024 na nkan e 2023 no we ye bibia o a nkrofo be so say oh open vote ndi aka won 1.5 years et say wotumi ye kungu awiem na de ba ko men hia pa infrastructure obi ehia bi so obetima ye wo hwe corruption ade nkrofo gina so to aba wo mem ha yan aka ho asem economy nti wo be say unemployment nkrofo nya adwuma nti mi bisa won say say won adwuma nya sa ne me obetuma ko campaign na won apre o me pese mi di MPP anim obetuma da bia won say meka me say party fo no mpa won ta menwo na won ye kunwu awiem no won aban na nya sa won nyina ba bia nyina na da bia no wo di blame Russia Ukraine war ene say wo be colonial rule abrofo ba ha be di ya nso nti na tesa na wo kan hwe inflation wo de Cote d'Ivoire 5.48 inflation yanam 27 ko Senegal 7.4 enye covid samiri ya wonyina anya African countries den asemuni ye niam a ye ntutu ni ye ma ho kwan grofo nkyereke won adwene na wo ka asem na tie na so pam eyi afa ye adwuma in case if your opposition ho nti if you asemesi obenten wo if you say opposition wo no wa ban mo ade eda obi ani so say obeye omani eni nti wo ma ho kwan a obi aba ba kire na de hwe ba ba kire na adwene ade ye de ne say wo ho na wo man ato nsa afre wo say asemesi bra na bekasa na yemfa nyoman unhia sika bia o wo pese obi hu say wo nso wa adwuma aso ani adadi sa na nipa ne bebere wo hia wo mamu a nti ye ma party sem no emrase na ye mfre won a wo betuma abo o manyi mra na ye nyentum say ba bia ye ngadui okono mra wo ayede enu nti mewuranom monhwe na Ghana omfa ne ntamampemfura meka Agya se ye sa de na Ghana ha ye nyo ha obi ada na da bia be ko ye nganim
bedase nene ye sorry say baby edru no menka say crossroad na say baby edru no ye yapim na say yapim nti baby edi ani akire ni so be summarize na ma bo ni tiawa ma me a e de na say no aban posture say ye dey.
Okay, let me go back to the issue regarding situation global. It is not only Ghana. But I was just in my car and thinking about all the issues that we've been discussing regarding the economy. And I maybe somebody who said, okay, so assuming we are managing the economy well, what should we be seeing? In other words, does it mean say you manage economy ni ye dia bibia ba ye ye ana? And the answer is no. Managing the economy well doesn't mean say bibia ba ye. But what it will mean ni say our GDP to debt ratio will not be where it is this year. What it will mean is say inflation, even though globally it is bad, it will not be hiking around these official figures of 27-28. That's official. What it will mean is our balance of payment or our reserve will be higher. We used to always hover around 3 months, 3.5 months, and all of that. We would have built our,
reserves.
Reserves. Countries have reserves in excess of 2 years. Excuse me. We've always hovered around 3.5, 4 months. If we are managing the economy well, we will be seeing those signs. If we are managing the economy well, it will mean that when you will do our roads, in 2 years, we will not be seeing potholes on the roads. If we are managing our economy well, it means that we will be able to be doing school feeding program well. We will not just be, serving rice with water. These are little things that makes up the economy. If we are managing the economy well, it will mean that small businesses will be, but because we are not doing all of these things, coupled with the pressure, say, eba or outside, now everything has gone down. But you see, one thing with me is that I feel very reluctant to give unsolicited advice. Ebi obi wo ho a oye na dwin se o ana oye ne hu se onu onem bibi tin obia
onem bibi a chin obia
nti se wo kan
tell say atwika se fa na nyansabo akwa
okay wo kan tell say onua wo dressing yi mi pa cho hwe na ya ni se kakra ompene me that is how I dress. Oh ye na twiwe mu kakra ompene ana se ni arrogance no say omu obia no onti ukra. So it doesn't matter what advice you give, they will not take it. You see, we want Ghana to be better. We want Ghana to be a beacon. One thing with IMF and World Bank is that they really want Ghana to be a democratic star. It is a BB affecting Ghana. How? And so, if you look at all the IMF, the multilateral institutions packages Africa, Ghana has done well. From the structure adjustment program through FinSAP and all of those things to GPRS, Ghana Poverty Reduction Strategy 1, 2, and all of those things, through to the current one, 2015, which brought about a gift mix that they were managing, and people were even angry about the finance minister that he was holding things too tight. Now, we have said, and I said here the last time, that our ministers, or ministries, I'm not even talking ministers, ministries should be reduced to 23. I gave a couple of things, and I said it comes with a further treatment, a lot of it. But they will not take. So why are you pushing yourself into that? Now, we are going to IMF. I have taken my diary, and I'm holding it like this. Let's all get there and see what is there. Okay. Twamanyaba.
Yeah. And then you be jina Twamanyaba yeso na ye de ekwo mhwehwe ni nyina asi wa ha. Afei na wo man no ne IMF fo ekotena se asi nkonwa. Ye de yensam koto manim say ne ye. IMF nso benya kwan ebisa nsam ahodo bebiri se anye bia weni we ba ne se na ekokoye sa. Momma yemfa no kuredie enka de wo ho ankasa nkere wo mo na se mo bi wo ho a wo mo de aboa esensa wo yare na ko hospital na wo yefunu na esa wo nsoro no ye tie afiri ho doctor ni bi so o ayo ma na eye me kuru ketua bi boa wo bewu esense eduru no de be ma wo no etumi nkonkosa yade no mpempen so aduru no etu so doctor etumi wi me sa bigidi krasa ate nso bia na nte enti paint na beka wasam no na doctor ne begina so de ama wo adura ebebo ama ho atumi ato enti we prof can say doctor can say bi o say nya se ne bako fotirim enti so bi ka bibia yentie doc bako so can say yenya se politicize bibia ye ka anai ube comment beba atemdidie nkoa itebe wiase no yentumi obi wo nimdie bia professor Kozibo hwe kasen bi o ma lectures bi o say e de man so betumi aba abonte abekasa esa so bekasa umbi di natem mi wo wo sua hunu bi akobetumi de aboa ye wo titru bebre wo mpese omo boa man no eno mu nimdie na so omo mpese obeka san so omo ka sebe akwada bia oni nimdie bia betia TV so radio so adi na temti no ena mi nimdie no enka mitirim ye bekoso atena society akosi awieye etugye yara ena pagifo edi wo mre eche yen ne ye beda omo ase pa ewo so munya abre ebaye eye miami nua aye odresse pa so atare no so mpan bi mame no ndo nya butre bre mi hu ni tele ni na no be hu Geoffrey Kabute Okanse executive director Revenue Mobilization Africa wono no team na misani fa so pay awchemuchum ka
thank you
and afi Samson Wolanyo Deklu or associate agent Bureau of Public Safety afo akpena okaka kasia and am benkum so penso Dr. Kwame Asante wono director Center for European Studies University of Ghana akora meda wasibiri
yawura ba
and afi ne kura Dr. Nene Adams Asafute, senior economist at UPSA. Nene Mumbuchunka. Miss Subidin, the Kwabena was the other Mama Boafua is so masne, a year for mattress for some the limited suspension and a few limited sport and it's of 400 aba, equator malaria, and a fee a year in soon. Nafi and then so I will go to say no be birthday when the Pakunu Poe. I will go to the anyway. My main kana yen sorry so. Or say a baby charity date, and I said date or Omni Bank, Accra Industrial Area Branch, or say never would and happy birthday to you. And a female mammy and Tiaji wa or down so my and Tiaji wa piase this year cron mammy no and Tiaji wa ni kunu da from papa da from and Tiaji on the pay. Me mashe de papa bia for me da masese munya abre na mo de mahoden e beta dwumadi akiri enen so wo ma ebe boa ye jojo ye me cameraman and afi please be executive director wo fie ha program your executive director na ne chidon for Randy yima so e bai okito so bai and afi Joyce so e bo me powder me din e de Agya Kwabena omane ye ene ne kankontira yesi achia na so mu ye e chabebu na e de say no enye kokoti sem say no everybody swallow your pride. Good morning.